Well, it's a very good question, Carly. Is everything done for once? Because we have had a habit for the last little while of hitting record and then discovering that you haven't done your job properly.
It's not actually me. We've discovered there are gremlins who just before we press go come in and do something. I don't know who those gremlins are. I don't know how to rid them, but there's something we live with.
Is that your story? That's your story and you're sticking with it?
It literally happened Monday night. I was sitting there and all of a sudden...
You need to halve the distance between your mouth and that microphone. There we go.
Hello.
Doesn't that sound better?
Yes.
And she instantly pushes it back down again away from her face.
I'm moving. Do you know, I was told on Monday night on our live chat that simultaneously I've had way too much Botox because it's rotting my grey matter.
Clearly, yeah.
And also I had far too vivid facial expressions.
Oh, you're overexpressive, yeah.
I'm very confused because I'm not sure how I can be both, but I am.
So you're basically Schrodinger's asshole. You're an asshole in every single way simultaneously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm lots of things all at once. And in a weird way, it's a backwards compliment because they're basically saying that I can multitask better than most.
Well, and the comments have been quite hilarious the last little while. I couldn't help but notice that I've been outed. I've been discovered. I've been outed.
The truth has finally surfaced.
Did you know? This is going to blow your mind. I'm not a right-winger. I'm a libertarian.
Shock.
I know.
Imagine my shock.
Now, I can appreciate that it took a lot of journalistic research, a real kind of investigative journalistic streak to uncover the fact that I have in fact called myself a libertarian for the last 15, 16 years, that I have repeatedly said that I am not right-wing, that I have spoken at libertarian conferences in Australia and the United States, and that I have won 3 different Australian Libertarian of the Year awards starting in 2016. And that, in fact, for most of my journey, my online bios have said libertarian. So I can understand people's shock to discover that I've been hiding my libertarianism all this time.
Yeah, I did notice that the fashion newspapers were just absolutely shocked to discover this about you. It was breaking news.
Breaking news. And we are the news now. We've been promoted. We are the news now. We did a show on Monday night, as we do. We go live on the internet. Tuesday morning.
It just pissed everyone off.
One of the fash outlets has come out quoting us. We're the news now. It's like, the trash magazines do stories about what Kyle and Jackie ever just said. That's us now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Can I have a Rolls Royce like Kyle has?
Listen, we're working on
and the money.
Not until after I have my damn private jet. All right? You don't get anything until after I've got my G6.
Do you want a G6?
No, not really.
Aim higher.
No, I actually want to be able to. I want one that I can fly myself. I want to work on my pilot's license and get to the point where I can be the co-pilot. I don't want to be the one looking after the plane. You can
technically if you get the licenses, but it just means if you want to do it commercially, you need a different license.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get paid by somebody else. I want to be the one. If this is going to be my jet. But you pay one pilot because there is a lot of work actually in it, and there's a lot of looking after the plane and checking the plane and planning and looking at weather and everything else. So I don't want to be the pilot. I only want to be the co-pilot, but I want to be one of the pilots.
Yeah, we've talked about this. That's my plan. When we move to Noosa.
Yeah, Noosa.
Yeah, we don't say Noosa. It's Noosa.
It's not Noosa.
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 When I used to live in Hampton, it was Hampton.
Hampton. I'm so glad we're everyone I'm sure appreciates us clearing our throats an inch from a podcasting microphone. Hampton.
Again with the duality of my personality and the way I present myself online, I am simultaneously a bogan and an elitist. I'm dumb, but also an academic elitist. I'm a lot of things.
It's exhausting. You are a busy girl.
My schedule is full.
Not to mention the fact that I think you get paid by about 4 or 5 different intelligence agencies, whilst also lacking all intelligence, according to the same people.
It is quite fundamentally curious how I am all places all at once. I feel like Hermione Granger. Do you get this reference?
Look, I actually do at a distance. Yes, I do. Yes.
Hermione Granger. I am insufferable and condescending, but also dumb.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Yep. Checks out. 100%.
And then also I've been reprimanded for not being more newsreader-like, more journalistic, because as a photographer, that would be my skill set to read like a newsreader.
Wait a minute. Are they saying you don't sound like a newsreader in the podcast that is explicitly based on the premise that we're simply recording the conversations between friends that we already were having before we started a podcast, and we decided, hey, let's share this with the world.
I'm not professional.
Because normal people read like a news presenter when having casual conversation with friends.
And I would also argue that given our distrust of mainstream media outlets, maybe we don't want to continue on those systems and those procedures because we feel alienated by them. So if you want me to be that, then what?
No, Carly, that's ridiculous.
Oh, sorry. I am dumb.
Yeah, well, we've established that. You need to reread 1984. Okay?
Reread
Yes,
it.
correct. Because these people are the new state.
They are.
Right? And there is no past, only an ever-changing present in which the online outrage mob are always
The
right.
Ministry of Truth.
So in the moment when you read that you are full of Botox, it's true. And a moment later when you read that you are too expressive, it is instantly true, right? And you just need to accept that these people are never wrong.
Help.
All right, enough about them because there's so much more interesting stuff in the world to talk about.
Can I just say one more thing?
Right.
I was in a little spat and you were like, Carly, get out of the mud. And
I did,
was like,
yeah.
I will not.
I told you to stop mud wrestling.
I was
with
like,
the
I will
piggies.
not. Daddy, stop telling me what to do. I'm having too much fun.
I literally, all I could see was your eyeballs. The rest of you was just completely plastered in black mud.
I'm like one of those
crawling
Labradors.
around in the comments section on X.
You know those Labradors that see the puddle of mud and the owner's like, Steven! I'm like, and they're like, what? I'm having fun. That's me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was in the mud wrestling and I was like, I was getting bored because the same person just kept basically saying the same thing, just worded differently. And all I sent back was a shovel emoji that was like lighting up 7 sticks of dynamite. Ranty message. Oh, you don't care. Oh, you're right. I do not care.
Yeah, that's actually the one true observation that they would have made. We don't.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is too, I feel like X and social media at large has forgotten a sense of humor. And they're like, oh, you can't find this funny. I'm like, well, actually that makes it a little more enjoyable.
It's only certain corners of it. Like the feminists can't handle anything,
Well, they definitely don't have
any
sense
sort of
humor.
humor. Social justice warriors, no humor. But also the extreme right can't handle any humor either.
Yeah, what's interesting about the extreme right is they love to jump on Abby and be like, this woman's crazy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, no argument here. Mm-hmm.
We're on the same page there, man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're like, oh, all these progressives, they want you to adopt all their ideologies and otherwise we're all Nazis. And then in the same breath, they're like, you will adopt our point of view or you're whatever.
Yeah. So,
controlled opposition.
Yeah, and so instantly I've gone from being someone that they love, I used to respect you, I used to admire you, I
You're
used to
dead
think
to
you were
me.
great, blah, 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 to instantly, they're putting up photographs of me in that photo I had with my arms folded with Avi, Rukshan and
I took that
Monica.
photo.
Yeah, you did. And they put BLM on the arm.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, hang on. So there is nothing in between you and BLM. The minute I'm not you, I'm BLM, right? And this is,
Is that not what the left's been doing to us the last 6 years?
And this is what we've been calling out over and over again. And as you love to say, they have the intellectual depth of
a puddle. It's my favourite line.
Yeah, I know. You use it regularly.
And my new favourite line is also first day on the internet. Question mark. When someone's like, blah, 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 I'm like, first day on the internet?
I do find myself saying you must be new here quite a lot. I do find myself saying that.
Yeah. I'm also, like, all jokes aside, why are you that invested, bro?
Yeah.
It's okay. The internet's not real. The second you turn your phone off, it's not there.
They take us way more seriously than we take ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, as soon as we finish the podcast, I'm like playing with my dogs and I've forgotten half. Because G will say, oh, what did you talk about? I'm like,
don't remember.
Can't remember.
Yep.
We'll have to know. We'll watch tonight.
That's enough. You've got an open book in front
I
of you.
do have an open book. All right. I really want to use this one. I can't even get this out. This was from last week. Is the Brobdingnagian. Brad Diggin. Nah, fuck. I'm not even trying.
Brobdingnagian. Brobdingnagian.
That sounds like a guy.
Brobdingnagian. Yeah,
It sounds like an auctioneer. That's what it sounds like to me.
Brobdingnagian.
Nah, if I can't say it, it can't be the word.
Describes a thing or person of enormous size. Huge.
So my ego.
So brouhaha, we know that one. Did you know that bromide, which is obviously it's a chemical.
Yes, I know what
It's
bromide
also a word that means a cliche or tired saying used to express an idea without any thought or originality.
That's a bromide.
That is a bromide. That is a very useful word because there's a lot of that on the internet.
Isn't bromide what you use to colour pretzels?
That's a very specific use case.
I know
I have no idea.
I need to give you context for this comment.
I'm going to blow your mind here, Carly. I don't know how pretzels are coloured.
Really? No. So do you know how I know this?
No.
My housemate.
Is this going to be like Slumdog Millionaire where we did like the flashbacks to how he knew the answers to the questions?
Yeah. Well, so my housemate, when I was at uni down in Deakin, she was German. She was coming over. She was a PhD student and doing marine biology.
Right.
And obviously German. And this is the one thing I've learned about Germans. Every time they come to Australia, they just roast us for our bread. Right?
Okay,
This is a German thing. So now it's got to the point where I'm like, if I meet a German, I'm like, I know, our bread sucks. I get it. I know. I'm sorry. Right? Anyway, that's what Agnes used to say to me. And I used to love doing like a Sunday morning brekkie. I still do it now.
Okay.
And so one day she's like, she brought home this little vial of stuff. And I swear it was bromide. I could be totally wrong. Fix me up in the comments. I know you will anyway. And I was like, what's that for? And she goes, you dip the pretzel dough in it. And that's what makes them go like really dark brown. I was like,
right.
What do you mean you put chemicals on my bread, bro? I don't want to do this. Anyway, and she did. So we would make pretzels together. Yum.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah,
like
right.
I'm a bread connoisseur. I love my bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like a pretzel is just not the same unless it's dipped in that, whatever it is.
I see. All right.
You all learned something today.
Yeah, well, we all will.
Probably wasn't bromide.
I've got an entire sentence for you in a minute. But,
Okay, go.
No, in a minute. Let's get a word. You're going to tell me when to...
Stop.
It has to be left.
1,
2, or 3. There's only 3 on the page.
3.
Cyizogy.
Oh, fuck.
Cyizogy. In astronomy, Cyizogy takes place when the Earth, Sun, and Moon all line up along a straight path.
Say it again.
Cyizogy.
Cyizogy. We're going to talk about Pluto and Aquarius. That's perfect.
Okay. All right. So
Cyizogy.
And I mean, you could use that word in reference to sort of the stars aligning. You know, there was a Cyizogy, and all of a sudden, I was able to do.
Is it spelled with a? How do you spell it?
Syzygy. I am not making that up.
Okay.
Cyizogy.
I just want to stipulate that I was dead wrong about bromide.
Fact check.
Fact check.
Do not dip your bread in this toxic, deadly chemical. What is bromide? What's it used for?
What is? I love a live Google. Is bromide?
I mean, it's basically the Joe
used
Rogan.
for?
Jamie
and Joe all at once.
Yeah.
Sedative and convulsant. Sorry, a sedative and anticonvulsant.
So basically, if you dip your bread in that, you're going to go to sleep afterwards.
It's in a form of compounds like potassium bromide and sodium bromide. I swear it was sodium bromide.
Basically, your German housemate was trying
to rape me.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but you went there. So, all right. Cyizogy is our word. It is an
real
alignment.
thing. Homemade Bavarian style sauce.
Sorry, caustic soda. I don't know.
This isn't a cooking show. I'm vetoing this segment. This is not a cooking show.
I don't know if I want to put my Bavarian soft pretzels baked safely in caustic soda.
Please tell me we're still talking about bread here.
That was the best tangent we've ever done.
Gosh.
Tangent time?
Tangent time. Tangent time.
Retroactive tangent time.
All right. I
Okay.
have a word for you.
Cyizogy.
Well, Cyizogy is the word. Sorry, I have a sentence for you.
I have to write down.
So you know shower thoughts? How there's this whole genre of like shower thoughts on the internet where people just sort of share random little
I know intrusive
things.
thoughts,
Well,
which I want to act
intrusive
on all the
thoughts,
times.
Sure. But people just have these weird wonderings or thoughts. I need to start my own little segment called Backseat of the Car Thoughts because my mind goes strange places when I'm getting driven down to Melbourne to join you
Backseat
for
thoughts
this.
with Topher. This sounds
That's
like
right.
a 3 a.m. radio show.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, I realised that I think I have come up with the strangest sentence in the English language.
Oh, yeah, this will be good.
Yeah. Records record.
Records, record.
Records. No, not records.
No, I got it. Records, records.
No. That's only 4.
Oh, what's the 5th one?
Records record. Records. So if there's a record number of records being recorded,
Yeah.
then the records would records.
Yep.
So 5 words.
Yeah, I'm with
all
you.
of them record. The first and last have an S on the end. Records.
Was that a headline from the Daily Mail?
No, that was literally me musing on nothing in the backseat of the car. Records, records.
That sounds like a Bureau of Meteorology.
A forecast of some
Yeah.
sort, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's related to that because it's related to the rain in Spain that falls mainly on the plain, or specifically the rain around Sydney, which we'll be talking about later in the podcast.
You mean like the hottest, driest winter and the coldest winter?
It's been a hellscape.
And then the Arctic storm and the Arctic freeze, but then the record hot.
Yep.
It's very
Yep.
confusing.
And look out for the global warming. Yeah.
So what's our word, Cyizogy?
Cyizogy, yes.
How do you spell that?
SYZYGY.
I wasn't even close. Hang on.
Yeah.
Say it again.
You've spelled it roughly how it's pronounced. SYZYGY.
Oh man, as a dyslexic, I look at that and just go, nah, a cat sat on the keyboard.
You stopped me.
Fuck.
You stopped me on that page. You picked number 3. This is on you.
Do you know what's funny? Just on that, I went to Iceland 23 after we did ARC. And I always used to look at Icelandic words and be like,
Oh, yeah.
what on earth? Like
Yeah.
the name of that volcano that blew up in 2010, there's like...
It is basically their entire alphabet twice.
Once you understand how they put their words together, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So I used to look at words like Reykjavik and be like, oh, no, I have no idea. And now I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas I look at the English language and like I know I do struggle with this. I've always struggled with this. I'm trying to like learn the rules so I can repeat them as opposed to understand them. And I'll say things like bussiness and Wednesday and vehicle because I really do struggle. And then I see some words, I'm like, nah, fuck off. That's it. English is
Look,
stupid.
yes, we've talked about this before. English is the bastard child of the language world, and most of the rules make no sense, and they all have exceptions to them. Yeah, Cyizogy.
Stupid.
Literally half of that word is made out of Y's.
Stupid.
And still not as stupid as the word Q,
Q.
which is literally a couple of redundant vowels lined up after the only letter that's doing all the work.
Well, there's 2 versions of spelling Q.
Well, okay. Well, there's the letter Q, then there's QUE, then there's QUEUE, which is the proper way to spell a queue, like a queue of people.
Yeah, queue of people.
So a queue of people is a bunch of redundant people lined up behind someone who's doing something, and the word Q is a bunch of redundant vowels lined up behind the letter Q, which is doing all of the work.
Yes.
The entire word is contained in the first letter.
This has got nothing to do with the podcast.
It's got nothing to do with the but whatever does.
Good news.
Oh,
I've got 3 this week to make up for last week.
can I share my good news with you?
Yeah. I think I have it on the screen. Do I have it
As
on the
of
screen?
right now, as of right this second, I have, or I am actually, let's do it the other way. I am 172 subscribers away from 100,000 YouTube subscribers right now as we record this.
That's pretty amazing.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And in January of this year, when I went, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to go for it and try and build what I do, whatever this is. I had less than 30,000. I had about 27,000, 28,000. So I'm growing at a rate in excess of 10,000 people a month.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
I
which is crazy.
I brought up the...
And while we're recording, the good news is that while we're recording this show, or perhaps shortly after we finish, I'm not quite sure, I'm going to hit 100,000.
That's a pretty big milestone for someone who
Nuts.
just got cancelled on the weekend
I know, terrible,
and is
wasn't it?
fading into
I
obscurity.
think I lost about 150 people out of that. Probably all of the Nazis in Australia unsubscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the pajama wearing.
The pajama party people.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
Yeah. Well, what's that song? Happy people, party people, pajama party people.
I don't know, bro.
Come on.
You're telling
Help me out in the comments, guys. Let's have a sing along.
Should we even talk about it? Probably not.
No.
They'll come and put a fucking Molotov cocktail over the house. But the whole wearing the pajamas and stomping around in hiking boots and being like, Uncle Hitty's so great.
Yeah. The only
It's
thing
embarrassing.
the only thing they're missing are like the ISIS flags.
Yeah.
Like honestly, you could interchange those people.
What I find so funny though, they've got to do everything so clandestinely. You know, we're so amazing. We're the hope of Australia. We're going to save everyone. We've got to do it all in the shadows at 1 o'clock when there's no one around.
And we're going to co-opt Topher's face to advertise our march because none of us have the guts to show our own.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, moving on. They're not worth the trouble.
All right. Your good news was the count.
Was the count? Yeah, I'm nearly there.
I brought this up and then I had to laugh because this is the live count on Social Blade.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah,
but
yeah.
then if I make this smaller so you can see it. Oh, come on. Do your thing.
This segment's going well.
Wait for it. Oh,
Okay, for those who are listening, we're getting more underwear advertisements.
Just been
After
targeted.
my misadventure, Carly had underwear ads on the screen besides a news story last week, was it? Or the week
Yeah,
before?
the Skims thing.
And I made the mistake of making a comment about it. Carly went diving down that rabbit hole with a little too much enthusiasm, it must be said. And ever since then, Carly has been being fed with more and more ladies' underwear ads, and it's hilarious.
I love the retargeting because everyone who says it doesn't work, it bloody does.
All right, so that's on Social Blade. That's saying 99,800. I've got the live count on my YouTube. I'll keep an eye on it
That's
as
weird
we
because
progress.
Social Blade normally does, because that's what people look at to get the live count,
Well,
but it's not
it's
updating.
not far out of date. Like this morning when I got up, I was at about 99,500. So
Yeah.
it has updated in relative real time. It's only behind by like 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Or maybe it's not this what I thought Social Blade's what people use, but I could be wrong. But we'll keep an eye on it.
Yep.
11 million views, though. That's
Yeah,
a lot of eyeballs.
up from less than 2 million at the start of this year. So when I just went, you know what, I'm just going to actually take this seriously and actually just do it properly.
Actually,
it has worked.
I have on Instagram hit 1.1 million in reach.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Which is crazy. Look at that.
Yeah, wow. That is great.
1.1 million.
Yep.
And I've gained like almost 1,000 followers, but of the people looking at my content, most of them aren't followers, which is great.
Yeah, right.
Lots of new eyeballs.
Well, we're going to keep growing you, and because I think your voice is valuable, and I think you've got important things to say. They're different to the things I say, but I think they're important. And we're just going to both keep growing and go and change the world.
Do you know, did I say this on Monday? I'm getting close to having my exhibition.
Yes.
And I just on the off chance started talking to the guest lecturer about my chicken in the noodle aisle thing.
Yeah. You mentioned it, yeah.
I got an email yesterday saying, I can't stop thinking about this project. Like, let's do something with it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I went to the supermarket and you're right. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know. I want to build a platform where people send in their photos and we'll just collect the photos.
Honestly, that would be a really popular little portal.
It's so silly,
Yeah.
but it's so funny. And
Yeah.
then, I just think it's like a good social commentary. It's a bit like having the Montague Bridge accident count.
Yeah.
Yeah, serves no purpose other than just literally mocking it
So
ourselves.
chicken in the noodle aisle. Citna. Kitna. I'm just trying to think, what would the website be? .com.au or .com? No, probably .com.au.
.com. Do you want to see? Did I show you this? I want to put it on screen. Hang on. I'll send it to myself and I'll put it on screen. But this is the one that started it all.
I actually haven't seen these photos.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen any of them?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's funny.
You just tell me about them. Yeah, but picture says 1,000 words, but you just choose to use the words instead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Forgive me. I'll tell you my good news as I'm sending these
Sure.
to us. So my good news is I have found my exhibition location and I have paid my deposit and it is full steam ahead. So I will be
Wonderful
having
news.
an exhibition on opening night is the 30th of October.
Cool.
I'll be having a bit of a shindig.
Yeah.
And I do expect you to be there. Maybe not.
I'm super excited, Carly. I can't wait to be there to support you in your exhibition. Was that the correct language? Hey, I said all the right things.
Yeah, shut up, dickhead. Do you like that?
Well, it's appropriate, so yeah.
So I've done all that. That's all happening, and it's all full steam ahead.
That's cool. Yeah. No, I'm genuinely super stoked. I think that the path that you've gone down is really cool. The way that you're mixing, ticking the boxes, getting the academic stuff, and doing well at it. Like you're not literally treating it like it's a box ticking exercise. You're doing well. You're getting your HDs. But nevertheless, functionally speaking, you're ticking that box so that people can't write you off as a know-nothing anymore. Not that you ever were a know-nothing, but people like to pretend that credentials mean something. So, hey, play the game.
Well, that's exactly. I'm playing the game, but also, I think I've mentioned this many times now. When it comes to academia, we know it's been co-opted by the left.
Yeah.
So how do we do it? We go and
just get back
infiltrate
in
it
there.
and we take it back.
Yeah.
That's literally my MO.
100%.
So this is chicken in the noodle aisle.
I see. I see the chicken. I mean, organic chicken as well. I know that packaging. I buy chicken from time to time.
Free range chicken, they're in the noodles. So
Guys, don't do that.
yeah, like Woolies has to. It was actually like that. That was how I found it.
It's just going to get... That's actually a better photo in my view, but that's just me. It's just going to get thrown out. Like,
But wait for it. So I just saw it one day and I thought that was funny because I said to myself, chicken in the noodle aisle. And I was like, I'm witty. And then from that day on, I couldn't unsee it. So, for example, we've got some moisturizer in with all the Asian ingredients.
Okay. Yep.
And then down here, we've got just toilet paper, paper towel just on the
Yep,
ground.
on the floor. Yep.
Discarded rice.
Yep.
We've got cookie dough next to the yogurt. So someone was deliberating there and good won over evil.
Yes. Made a choice.
The crumpets in with the jerky aisle.
Classic combination. Jerky crumpets.
I often have jerky on my crumpets. Someone just decided, no, I actually don't give a fuck, but while I'm here, I better get some cat litter.
Yeah, so it's sort of like, do I get flowers for my girlfriend or litter for my cat? I mean, good choice, I'd say.
Yeah. Why not have a drink as you're perusing the supermarket and then just leave it behind?
Because no one knows, you see. No one would have seen that he took a Coke out of a fridge and then drank it whilst he was at the store.
Yeah, this one.
Through a straw. I mean, that's
This person.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't say I approve of that choice. If you needed those things, you needed those things.
Yeah, sanitary items in the protein aisle.
Yeah. I mean, I think you just chicken in the noodle aisle. Stick with that name.
Yeah. I've got hundreds of these now. And I think I said, I'm a bit of a supermarket slut. I love going to different supermarkets. It's weird. I know it's weird. Don't judge me. I find it interesting.
It's just an interesting way to express that you are
I'm not
agnostic.
loyal.
You are agnostic regarding which of the grocery department stores you walk into.
I ain't loyal to no supermarket. I go where I want.
You're a supermarket hoe. Yes.
Yes, and now whether it's Aldi, Coles, IGA, this is everywhere. And now I've pointed out to people you won't unsee it, and it will actually piss you off.
I know, but it already does.
You're so lazy.
So I'm one of those people. I will turn a blind eye to a mess that's already there because otherwise you'd never get out of the store, right? If you literally walked around fixing everything.
Yeah.
But I will not abide me making a mess. So, for example, I was grabbing some flatbread. I was doing a lamb spit roast.
Yeah.
Beautiful charcoal roasted Mediterranean marinated lamb going into pita bread wraps with some
Yum.
Yogurt and some
Greek.
tomato and some cucumber, a little bit of red onion, some hummus and some cheese.
Bro, I'm getting hungry. Shut up.
Right. So that's what I had planned for the evening for the family and some friends.
Everyone's sitting there salivating.
I needed to get a couple of. Oh, it's good. I do a proper charcoal spit roast outside. The fire brigade comes because they think I've set fire to the forest. And so I had to buy the flatbread, the pita bread, and they had overstacked the shelf. Right,
Oh, yeah.
the supermarket, the people packing the shelves had overstacked this particular shelf, and I grabbed one, and they were all kind of piled up, and about 3 slid off and fell on the floor. Well, I go, okay, 1 into my trolley, the other 3, I scoop them back up again, and I locate them back on the shelf so that no one steps on them, no one slips on them, the stuff doesn't get damaged or wasted or anything like that. And someone came walking past me and looked at me with just this really confused and kind of condescending look of ew, why would you do that?
Oh, as in you're picking up food from the
ground.
ground.
These were, they were all wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, but that's what they were
unsanitary.
thinking.
Well, I mean, but the way I read it, and I didn't ask them about it, but the way I read it was this condescending, isn't that beneath you?
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
That's, ew.
Yeah.
Was just, and they just they held this look as they came past me, and the angle of their head sort of followed me. I was just really?
Yeah.
My mind went back actually. So I was a manager at a place called Costa Logistics. I worked there for over 7 years. Went from the shop floor, picker packer, all the way up to lower management, shift supervisor sort of stuff. And I was walking not long after I became a shift supervisor. I was walking with one of the guys that I'd known for a while. He was a good guy, and he asked me, "Why do you stop and pick up rubbish on the floor when you see it? You're a supervisor now. You don't have to do that." Right? And I was just one of those moments where I opened my mouth and something came out that surprised me. I was like, oh, wow, actually, okay. And I said, if I believe that there is a job that is beneath me, then that implies that there might be such a thing as a job that is above me. Mm-hmm. And I'm too arrogant to admit that there's a job that's above me.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to claim that there's a job that's beneath me.
Huh.
And
Yeah.
And he didn't. He had no reply. We walked for it was a big warehouse. We
He was sitting there processing it.
We walked for another I don't know, probably 40 meters or so till we got to the break room, and he went his way and I went mine. He didn't say another word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I call a mic drop.
Accidental, but yes.
I've noticed that too. When I did that video about the burnout car and I said that, the classic Australian tradition of it's just not my job, mate.
Yeah, not my job.
I've got here, because as we know, I pissed a lot of people off on Monday night. But I have here, because we were going to talk about
That's just a normal Monday. That's not unusual.
It's an average day for me. We were talking about, the productivity summit.
Yeah.
And I decided to go and research from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the Productivity Commission of Australia, some articles from the Reserve Bank of Australia, and also some scientific journals around.
Don't you know that data is oppression?
Yeah,
this is just colonialism in action.
Just basically pointing to the fact that, yes, in Australia, we have gotten progressively lazier and also, shock, dumber.
No.
Statistical data is here. And there's been lots of studies on this. Our IQs are failing based on traditional metrics. There is also an element there where you could argue that with a lot of digital technology, we're getting smarter because we understand this technology. But there is a groundbreaking study, you may not have seen it, about how ChatGPT and these language models, large language learning models, are actually rewiring our neurons, or the neural pathway, and we're losing that cognitive ability.
Yeah.
And it's by definition, it's making you dumb.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you can't get smarter. It's not saying that's where you stay. It's saying that it's rewiring your brain, so you're regressing.
Yeah.
You're going back to like a primary school level way of thinking and processing.
See, this to me makes perfect sense. I believe in God. I believe that God is the one that created the universe, and that when he created it, it was good. And that it has been breaking and regressing ever since.
Yeah.
So the commonly held belief is that ancient humans were dumber than us, and we're slowly getting smarter. We become, we call ourselves Homo sapiens. Well, now they're trying to call us Homo sapiens sapien, because we're the wise of the wise. It means that, sapien is a wise one. I think that's absolute nonsense. And when you look back at what ancient civilizations were able to do without the technologies that we have, they had a grasp of basic physics.
Well, just look at what the Romans did with the aqueducts.
Look at what they did with the aqueducts. Look at South America. Look at Egypt and the pyramids. Look, everywhere, all over the world, there is examples on every single continent of things being done by people.
Except Australia.
Well,
Whoops.
things being done. Evidence of massive irrigation districts in the Amazon jungle, and the jungle has taken over the top of it. And for a long time, we went, "Oh, this is wild. It's untouched wilderness." No. This was cultivated for quite some time. The evidence is all over this planet that, and these people were fewer in number, substantially fewer in number than what we are now, and they did not possess the technology that we have today. But they were able to look at problems and figure out solutions that we cannot devise today. With all of our technology, we could do it with a big machine, even then sometimes not, by the way. But, we could use our technology to achieve something comparable maybe. But we have no explanation for how they did what they did with what they had. They were smarter than us. Now, this makes perfect sense when you simply look at DNA, you look at genetics, and you understand that with every single generation, there are copying errors. This happens every single generation. There are copying errors. It's not a surprise to me that the further through the generations we get, we're noticing more allergies. We're noticing more issues of various different kinds. And yes, there are environmental factors in that as well. But it does not surprise me that as time and as generations pass, genetics are breaking down. That's exactly what we would expect.
Degenerative over time, or
correct. Well, look at all of nature. The law of entropy is essentially a law that makes it a fact of physics that everything degrades over time unless energy is put into it to sustain it, right? Sustaining something at the same level in the natural world requires effort and energy to be input into that system. If you leave it alone, it will naturally degrade.
Yes.
And I think if you look back in human history and if you look at what's happening today, we are literally watching the degradation of human DNA, and I think this is inevitable. I think there is it's kind of like a clock winding down. And this is a little bit of let's have a despairing little conversation about the future of humanity.
Dude.
It's not to say that it's happening, that's going to happen in 2 generations' time, but we are not as smart as our ancestors.
Yeah.
We have better technology because we developed the ability to record our ideas, to communicate our ideas, and we've had, believe it or not, in the last 150 years, a period of relative peace.
Yeah.
And also we've harnessed energy now.
Yes.
The access to energy that we have is extraordinary. The combination of those things has given us access to information and technology that our ancestors did not have. But on raw intellectual horsepower, we're not even close.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin the segment that we're going to have for later, but we are going to talk about that because I made a comment that Australians are lazy and
That's on Monday. You made the comment on Monday and I talked about the fact that I'm really appreciating the attitude of the people that I've employed in the Philippines.
Oh boy, are you getting roasted for that?
People are outraged. How dare you employ perfectly decent human beings
To do a job.
who also have families and dreams and ambitions and bills to pay, who are willing to work and actually appreciate the work.
Yeah.
Instead of employing someone who hates you, who grew up on the same continent.
Well, the person who was most outraged by that comment, we went back and forth a little bit, went and did a ChatGPT summary of what you must be paying them.
Oh, right.
And apparently,
how much am I paying them?
Apparently somewhere between 30 cents and $11 an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's an exceptionally
So that must
widespread.
be fact.
Well, but
Because ChatGPT said it.
okay, but also like that's an order of that's 2 orders of magnitude. Like, sorry, that's not an estimate. That's
It was based
wild
on
goose chase.
level of their output. So
30
at the
cents.
entry level was 30 cents. At
30
the top end of a freelancer.
Well, boy, 30 cents. I'm going to have a chat with my team.
Sorry, Roy. I just got you demoted. I've got a couple of things to say. We're here, and I haven't finished my good news, but fuck it, we're here. When it comes to running a business and things like that, people are so short-sighted in their thinking, right? And I find it really interesting because people align it all to their political persuasion. So the person we were going back and forth with, we mostly...
You were, to be clear.
Well, me. I was.
I don't wrestle in the mud
No,
with
I know.
pigs. I'm sorry.
I'll grow up eventually. It's just too fun. Just think of me like as a golden retriever or a Labrador.
You just this is your happy
Can't
place.
help it. Anyway, so we're going back and forth, and I made this long comment. I was like, that's fundamentally false. Like, that's not true, blah, 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 blah. And then they just posted that meme like, oh, too long to read. I'm sorry that happened to you, or I'm really happy it happened. You know that silly meme? Mm-hmm. And I was like, are you
Which
serious?
is a pure cop-out.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's pathetic. You
Yeah.
you throw the grenade.
Yeah.
I fired it back at you, and you're like, I'm not going to respond. Okay, fine, whatever. But when it comes to running a business, aside from the obvious things of Australia just making it so hard, right? All the bureaucracy, all the red tape, all the licenses, all of the permits,
Just
and
the barrier.
just
Barrier
yeah.
after barrier. You run into nothing but barriers.
Yeah, I made that point that in the Productivity Commission in Brisbane, they discovered it takes 31 steps of government red tape to sell a coffee. Apply that to any industry. Every industry's got their things, right? Like, for example, in the photography industry, I have to have public liability insurance. I cannot go anywhere without it. I have to have my own. A model has to sign a release. I have to do all these sort of checks and balances. So it's not just I rock up and take a photo. I'm like, hang on a minute, there's all the paperwork. Here's all this. Who's got the copyright? Like, every business has that.
If you want to go on a shoot with a decent sized team, the minute there's more than 4 of you involved, you have to get council permits to be able to, even though you're out in public places.
Yes, it's just it goes on and on and on, and people don't understand that. Of course, you don't work in it, you don't get it. But what I'm saying is, it's the same for every industry.
Yeah,
and it also makes it slow, and that's the biggest thing. So everyone always thinks, oh, money. It's always about money. It's like, yeah, part of it, because what business wants to spend money they don't need to? That's like not efficient. And then that also eats into the bottom line, which means you can't scale the business.
Yep.
But then there's the other side of it, which is turnaround. And things take far too long.
Yep.
Now, with Australians, and I'm going to die on this hill, I do not care if this upsets or offends you.
Yeah.
I understand that we should have work-life balance. But Australians rather a whole lot more life and a lot less work.
And also, even when they're at work, they're not at work.
Correct. And this has been going on for years. I remember when I was in my 20s and I was working for news magazines. So that was part of Murdoch. And there was myself and 2 other people who were really young. Like, I was 21, I think, and we were all around the same age. And then everyone else was like in their late 30s and above. And that was when Facebook had sort of just started to really take off. And my job was to go onto Facebook and look at it from a point of view of, this is ancient. This is before everyone had a Facebook page.
Sure.
And there was websites for things. Like, this is slow stuff.
This is last century.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I think social media might be able to, like, we could put a Vogue page on social media. We could do this on social media. And one day my big boss walked past my desk. He's like, get off Facebook, and like yelled at me. And I don't like getting in trouble. So I was all upset. And then my boss went in there and was explaining to him what I did. And so he thought I was like doing nothing. He thought I was just, wasting my time.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the thing was the other 2 young ones who we were busting our balls. But on the other side of that was the older generations who were at the golf day,
Oh, yeah.
you know, getting
Yeah,
the client to sign. They're at the long lunch for 3 hours at the Langham.
Yeah.
You know, they were having a staff meeting,
Yeah.
you know,
Fully catered, of course.
fully catered and paid for by the company.
Yeah.
And so, like, this has been a long conversation, and I understand that we take liberties and, you know, you sort of get a little bit lax when you're comfortable. But overall, that has declined even more. You think about the average young person, they're on social media, and Gen Z cops this the most. Like, they're unproductive, they don't care. But by and large, and I'm sorry, Aussies, and you can tell me I'm condescending and I'm an asshole, we are actually way less productive than most of the world.
Correct.
When you go to Europe, when you go to America, so, you know, your other Western countries, I'm not conflating this with Asian countries or whatever, Americans work their guts out. Americans love success. Not all, but most of them are like hungry.
Yep.
And they'll do the 7 a.m. to the 11 p.m. You know, they'll clock off and go home. And as Australians, we go, that's bad. You can't sustain that. That's terrible. Okay, no one's making you do it.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I'm up at 6. I usually don't finish work till after 9 p.m. and I've only taken 1 to 2 hours off during the day. I do that 5 days a week, and then I still do work on weekends.
That's called free will.
It's called hustling.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
You're doing it because you can see what benefit you'll get from sustaining that level of work.
Yep.
You don't have to do it for the whole of your life.
No.
You're in a season.
It's a chapter. It's a season,
chapter.
exactly.
And I'm in that chapter as well. I've got a lot of things going on all at once between the postgraduate, this podcast, and my actual business. There's not a lot of downtime. And I'm not going to say who it was, but someone made a comment because I was working at like 10 o'clock at night, and the person was like, what do you mean you're still working? This is ridiculous. I'm like, no, it's not. It's really not that hard. I'm sitting at my desk, like typing. Oh, no, this is unhealthy. You can't do this. That's terrible. What do you mean it's terrible? What am I meant to go, oops, sorry, it's 5 o'clock. I'll clock off tonight.
Yeah.
I'll wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, I want to go somewhere. I want to do something. I'm not saying you have to do this. So just know, if you're watching this, I'm not lecturing you on what you should do. I'm saying it's available should you want to get ahead.
Can I tangent time, and then we'll come back to this because we need to get to your data and what you found. So tangent time.
Can't see my
Buy the mug.
Oh, wait.
Tangent time. There it is. Buy the mug and
We
the
don't have a
t-shirt
mug.
and the
We have a
hoodie.
t-shirt.
Goodpeoplebreakbadlaws.com. Grift. So you've raised an amazing array of points. Anyone that wants to be successful in Australia and you don't yet understand how you're being held back by what you were taught, by the air that you breathed here in Australia, start by reading Robert Kiyosaki's book, Cash Flow Quadrant, and understand the difference in mentality between the employee mindset, which is what Aussies are raised with. Aussies are raised with an employee mindset. The tall poppy syndrome, it's an employee mindset. Read Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant, get it online, do whatever you got to do.
Actually, I haven't read that one.
The employee mindset is what you've been raised with. The self-employed mindset is what tradies and people who want to be a bit more independent have been raised with. The business person mindset is the mindset you need to get to if you want to be actually successful. Now, I'm not going to unpack what's in that book. I'm just saying get the book and read it. What I do want to say as well, though, if you want to be successful, and I don't know about you, Carly, I want to be successful.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, okay, good.
I got expensive taste.
All right, so how much you earn and I promise this tangent's worth it. How much you earn is a function of 3 very simple things. How much you get paid by how many people, how often. Those 3 things multiplied together dictates your earnings over a year, over a lifetime. How much you get paid, how often, and by how many people at a time. So for most people who are just working a job, they're going to be paid whatever it is per hour by one boss per hour, right? That's what they can earn in an hour because there's one person and they're paying them for their time. The underlying denomination of most people's income is time.
Yes.
They're selling time. The problem is the underlying denomination of all of your bills is also time. Rent, mortgage payments, food, all the rest of it. This is all denominated on time because as time passes, now I have to spend more money on medical care or whatever it is. Time is the fundamental denomination that you're actually paying for. So most people and the school system, the university system, what it says is if you want to make more money, you need to change one of those variables.
Yep.
You need to study or you need to do something so that you get paid more by that one boss per hour. We're only playing with one of these variables.
Yeah.
And if you're really good, you'll end up on $120 an hour. Or if you're a lawyer, you'll end up on $300 an hour or something like that. And we're all chasing that variable.
Yeah.
The business person says, well, hang on, there's 2 other variables to play with. If I can offer a product or service or something that's valuable, then multiple people will pay me at a time.
Yes.
And they might pay me far more often than once per hour because I've decoupled from the hours. I'm not selling my hours anymore. I'm selling a result.
Yeah.
So let's look at what I'm doing here. So and this is what I sort of realized and what led me to going, okay, I'm going to try and make a go out of this content creation thing and being a full-time cultural and political and Christian commentator. I made a video yesterday. As of the time of us starting to record, I think 60,000 people had watched it.
Is that the house one?
That was the house one.
Yeah.
So 60,000 people have watched a video that I made. And there's no upper limit on that. That could get to 100,000, could get to 150. I don't know how far it'll go. And I get paid a tiny fraction of a cent per person that watches. All right. But now my income is completely decoupled from time. Now, yes, I still have to work hard. I'm working the hardest I've ever worked to create the content for people to watch. But then some of those people go and buy a book. Well, I wrote that book, my first book, I wrote that 2.5 years ago. And I'm still able to sell another copy today. And I make $10 every time someone buys a copy of my book. So I've decoupled my income from time. And what I'm doing is I'm playing with the other two variables, the number of people that can give me money and how often they can do it. Someone can sit there and binge watch 20 of my videos and I'll get a fraction of a cent 20 times over. It's all completely decoupled from my time. I still have to work hard to create the new content that keeps people coming back, but my income is decoupled from my time. That is the objective. If you want to actually succeed, and I know you do, and I know a lot of our viewers do, if you want to succeed, you have to figure out how to play with those other two variables rather than focusing purely on what you can get paid by your boss per hour.
Yeah. And this also ties into the tall poppy thing. And we saw it just literally the last couple of days when we pissed off the far right.
Yes.
They're like, oh, you're grifters. You just try to, everything's about money. You know, they always take the piss out of us selling stuff or whatever. I'm like, dude, you're just mad. You're not doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, no, nothing's stopping you. You're saying we're grifting as if this is like a nefarious thing that we've chosen to do because, you know, it's easy or something. No, it takes time. Or
that we're deceiving people.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with the grifter is that they're creating a false problem and they're selling a false solution.
Or
that's
they're
what
backing,
grifting actually is.
Well, no, grifting is like you're attaching yourself to a problem and then only in it because you think you can make money off it. Like you don't actually care about the problem.
But in particular, like what you're offering doesn't actually fix it.
Yeah.
So, for example, all the people making money on climate change are grifters.
Yes.
All the people making money out of mRNA vaccines and all the measures to mitigate against COVID, they were grifters.
Yes.
We are surrounded by grifters.
Another word for it is an opportunist. You know, grifter is a pejorative, like, oh, you're a grifter. It's just a dismissive term. But, you know, when it comes to what we're doing, for example, the content creation thing, because that's what it is. You know, whether it's a podcast, YouTube, whatever, it's all the same shit.
We're creating content,
This is a new industry. Much like the Industrial Revolution, this is a digital revolution. It's been going for ages. The internet's not new, but this way of making serious bucks is relatively new. You know, you look at someone like Mr. Beast, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
These people have made mega money from YouTube.
Can I add a nuance to that?
Yeah.
The age of doing that without having to get through gatekeepers is new.
Yes.
There have been people that have made a fortune since Greek times as content creators in theatre or as orators.
I mean in the digital world.
But to do that without gatekeepers, where you've got direct access to an audience, you don't have to impress a publisher or a promoter or anybody else first. That is entirely new.
Yeah. And you can do it also in a way that suits you specifically. Like, you know, for example, a comment that I've had multiple times, and I assume these people are a lot older than us, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they'll say something like, oh, Carly's not very polished. She's not very professional. Well, yeah, that's why people like it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be Lisa Wilkinson or Waleed Ali or whatever his name is. You know, I'm just trying to be Carl's. And Carl's is someone who is an extrovert. She pulls funny faces. She's got a lot of personality.
Which I love using in the thumbnails, by the way.
Yeah. But like, okay, so don't be yourself. So when I get that comment, and I'm trying to illustrate this, not for me. I want you guys at home to hear this because everyone who is jealous of you or starts to see you doing a little bit better, and this could be marginal, this could be in your local community, could be in your family, it doesn't have to be on the level that me and Topher are doing it. But when people see you to start to get your life together or do a little bit better, they will say things like, you've changed, you're not you anymore.
Yeah.
And what they're saying is that they want a version of you that fits in a very tight packaged little box. Yep. And so when I get that comment like, oh, Carly's not very polished, she's not very this, what they're saying is you can't be you. You need to be this version that I find palatable. And if you go outside of that, I'm going to dismiss you because you need to be this. This is the beautiful thing about the internet and the free market and content creation. There is room literally for everyone.
There has never been more opportunity in the world than what there is right now.
And people get mad because they look at you and I, I'm not trying to sound big here, but they're like, oh, why haven't all the freedom people spoken up about the protest, for example? You should be endorsing it. Well, bro, build your own platform.
Build your own platform, yeah.
Like, you're waiting for us to lead you.
Yeah.
We don't need to. You can lead yourself.
And then what they do is they look at you later and they go, well, I could have done that. Well, yeah, but you didn't.
And this is what I said to you about a lot of artists. We talked about Jackson Pollock last week. Oh, I could do that. Yeah, but you haven't.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
Yeah.
And I've had someone say that about my master's project. Oh, I could do that. I'm like, go on then.
Yep.
Please, by all means, go and do it. And I'm not saying that as like an attack. I'm just saying, like, so many people seem to feel there's a glass ceiling there. It's non-existent. Oh, I don't have enough money. Well, bullshit. We started this with the smell of an oily rag.
Well, yeah.
We literally pieced this together with like basic equipment. And if you go and watch the first couple of podcasts, they're shit.
We had black sound insulation.
No,
all over
before
these
that we
walls.
had nothing.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. We had absolutely nothing.
We had just this table and 2 little lapel mics.
Yeah.
But, I'm not trying to condescend you. I'm not trying to talk down. What I'm saying is it does seem to be a lack of imagination in what's possible out there. And people go, it's too hard, I can't do it. You find a way, you really do.
Yep.
And,
It's a matter of priorities. What are you giving time to, and what are you willing to displace?
Can I just tell you this story very quickly and I'll stop talking about it? But
we still haven't got to that, darn
No,
it.
I know.
We're still on the tangent. We haven't come back yet.
No. When I started my clothing company, I was working full time in the city and I lived in Geelong. So my day looked a little something like this. I got up at 5:30. I went to CrossFit. I was obsessed with CrossFit. But what CrossFit did do, aside from the fitness, was great. It got me into a routine because I couldn't go after work. There wasn't a class. My only option was the 6 a.m. class. So all of a sudden I started getting up earlier, which meant I had to be organized because I didn't have time to waste. And that's how I became, and this is like when I was 23 or something, I became very organized all of a sudden. That's what it taught me. So I'd be up, I'd race to the gym, I'd go do my workout, and then I'd run in the shower, get ready for work, jump on the train, go to Geelong, and then work all day, and then do it in reverse. And so I would leave home at 5:30 and I didn't get home till almost 7. And I'm doing this as a 20-year-old. And then my only downtime was on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and then do it again. And I did that for 7 years.
Yeah.
And what I realized is, I didn't have a lot of free time, but then I realized, oh, hang on, there's pockets of time. So on the train, it's like an hour. Sometimes it was an hour and a half, depending on V-line. So I was like, okay, I've got an hour and a half on the train to do whatever I want. And I would do things like crochet, read a book. Sometimes I'd snooze. And then on the way home, same thing. And this was before like full smartphones. Like we had those, but not like we have them now. And then, God, I make myself sound old. Every now and then I say those things. I'm like, you sound old, but the technology is not that new. Not that old.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I want to start this clothing company. So I'm working full time. I'm already like getting up at the crack of dawn. And I was like, well, I was excited about it. And so you find those pockets of time. So what I would do is on my lunch break, I'd sit there in the office using my office computer to play around with some designs. On the way home, I was like brainstorming in a journal and drawing things. I'd go have dinner and then I'd sit in front of my computer again till 1 o'clock, then get up again at 5:30. Now, I'm not saying that's healthy. I'm not saying that you should be running on 4 hours sleep. It was a season.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like work because I was genuinely excited to do it. And I was able to get that company off the ground. And in my mind, it was just a scrappy little T-shirt project. And it ended up becoming a really big company that I ran for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, it didn't work out. But I did that as a kid.
After 10 years, you've got to change your language. It did work out. It didn't necessarily end the way you would have liked it to. But running a company for 10 years, that company worked out. Most companies are dead in less than a year.
Yeah.
The overwhelming majority are dead in less than 5 years. If you keep going for 10 years and then it doesn't work out, the company worked out just fine for 9.5 years.
Thank you. Yes, I will take that. But
let's get to your data.
Yeah. So my point is, guys, there's ways around it. And I get really sad for you when I see the defeated comments like, oh, I can't do that. It's easy for you. I'm like, dude, it's easy for you. I promise you.
Yeah. Well, no, I would say it the other way around. No, it's not easy for me. I get why you look at it and you go, that looks too hard. I understand that.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
It's possible.
Do it anyway.
So I was looking at, because obviously Albanese has the summit at the moment.
The productivity summit. He's promised us this is not about more taxes. This is about productivity.
I've got some articles here for you, but, oh God, my earrings caught in the thing. It's hurting. Sorry.
Oh.
So I made that claim that Australians are lazy. And then I was like, well, I can't just make this bold claim and then get everyone all upset and not be able to back it up. So I did. And as I said, I went and looked at the Australian Bureau of Statistics. I looked at the Productivity Commission. I looked at the data from the Reserve Bank of Australia. And it doesn't look good for Australians.
No.
There's a
Not at
lot of
all.
things here. And it's an oversimplification saying, we can just blame employees. I don't think it's that. I think these employees are the least incentivized they've ever been. And actually, where is this?
But also, there's so much structural when it comes to productivity. So energy prices, for example, every time energy prices go up, productivity by definition is going to drop because productivity is a function of what you can produce from a given amount of inputs.
Yeah.
If the cost of inputs goes up, then your productivity is going to drop. It is going to go down. So there's a lot more at play than just how hard the employees are slaving away.
Yes. And, I think there's a level of resentment there. I made the comment on Monday about, the Google and the Silicon Valley workplaces, how they have all the smoothie bars and the quiet rooms and all that. What that's actually doing is not trying to make the employee's life better. It's trying to keep them at work. And I don't think people realize that. The company's investing in that, hoping that you would then stay till 9 o'clock because you were having so much fun with all the different things that were available.
Yeah.
Not that you'd be doing it in work hours. But I found this interesting document online. This is called The Unpacking of the 2025 Global Workplace
Scroll
Report.
down a bit further because there we go.
Sorry. And so this is a Gallup State of the Global Workplace 2025 report. And I thought it was really interesting. And this website has unpacked it. So it's a huge document. It looks like this. This is not that document. Someone called, what are they called? Open Door Coaching has taken that and put it into some nice illustrations to make it nice and easy for us. And so is the global workplace at breaking point? Employee engagement is on the brink of collapse and management engagement has dropped from 30% to 27%. No other worker category has had such a sharp fall. So we're unpacking that. And how is Australia tracking? So this is important. Globally, employee engagement remains stubbornly low. So that means at work, they are disengaged.
Yep.
They do not care. They have no pride in their work. And I made that comment on Monday. 23% of the employees worldwide say they are engaged in their work. So they know they're not engaged. They know they're doing the bare minimum. And that figure remains unchanged from the last year. Stress levels remain high. And with 44% of employees reporting daily stress at work. So overall, the comment is in Australia and New Zealand, engagement sits at 20%, slightly below the global average. Although this region shows strong economic growth, the emotional experience of workers tells a different story. Many employees feel disconnected, stressed, and under-supported. And then it goes on. I mean, I'm not going to read you the whole
Yeah, they're going
document.
to try and sell coaching and all that. Yep.
Right? So this was really interesting. So we know there's data to say that people aren't productive at work.
Yeah, sure.
They're disengaged. They don't care. I think a lot of that comes down to, well, it's not just my job, mate. And I think I'm going to tie this in. This is a broad sweeping brush. I know that. I'm going to tie it into tall puppy.
Sure.
Because think about, I'm talking in a cliche because it's easier to understand a cliche than it is to really break
Get
this
into the
open.
nuts and bolts of every single
Right? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, I'm not like that. Well, I'm not speaking specifically to you, Susan. I'm talking generally. If it doesn't apply to you, don't feel attacked. But you think about at school, right? And it's a cliche to say this, but the smart kid always gets picked on.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
In the workplace, the goody two-shoes, everyone rolls their eyes. Oh,
Yeah.
here's Susan again. She's so smart.
Yeah.
And then look at the content creator that goes from having a very small audience to all of a sudden 1 million. Oh, you've changed.
Yeah.
That's a real problem. We don't like seeing people do well.
Yeah.
So that de-incentivizes people to stand out. So there's always going to be people who are the outliers, who are your Elon Musks, who are your, your Albert Einsteins, these once in a lifetime, once in a generation.
People who don't care that they get picked on. They're going to excel for their own sake.
I'm not talking about those people.
Yeah.
I don't care if you can solve a Rubik's Cube in 2 seconds. Well done. Good on you. I'm talking about your better than average people who aren't actually reaching their potential.
Yeah.
These are people who could go on to do bigger and better things, but for whatever reason, they've rested on their laurels and they've just settled. Why are they de-incentivized? Why are they not trying? Well, probably because, and again, sweeping generalized statements, maybe because when they stay back at work, their mates are like, come on, mate, come to the pub. Oh, come on, fuck it. We can do it later. Oh, what are you doing that for? Whoa, are you gay? You've heard these things.
Yeah.
This is a commonality in the discourse in Australia. I see it with my mates, not so much now. I've got way better mates, but when I was getting my clothing company going, oh, you're always working. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
So you're familiar with the idea that we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with,
of course.
right? So
Yes.
sometimes changing your friends is actually important. If your friends are actually, if you grew up playing basketball on the street with a bunch of mates and then you decided, I'm going to become a pro basketball player, guess what? You need to find some different mates. You're going to have trainers. You're going to have other people in your club, people that aren't playing basketball on the street corner. They're playing basketball in the arena.
Yeah.
It's just you have to change in order to become the thing you want to become. But also, on the tall poppy syndrome side of things, the tearing each other down that we do really naturally, really subconsciously in Australian culture in so many different ways is usually actually out of our own insecurity.
Yeah.
Because if somebody else succeeds, what they're proving is that if we'd have actually applied ourselves, we could have succeeded too.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what drives this need to tear down the person who did well.
Yes.
Is actually to defend ourselves from our own fear that we haven't lived up to our own potential.
100%. And I mean, this, not to keep bringing it back to comments on YouTube, but that's kind of what that is.
Yeah.
You know, like on Monday, everyone got their knickers in a knot because we didn't say the thing they wanted us to say. So then it's like, oh, you're irrelevant, you're grifters, you know, you're controlled. Okay, you're just trying to dismiss our little bit of success. We're not bloody Logan Paul. We're not Mr. Beast. But, you know, considering we started this podcast in January and where it is now.
Yeah, episode 33, let's not forget.
Yeah, episode 33. We've done it every week on a Wednesday. You would come down from Albury. It's an 8-hour return trip. We do the Monday night now. We've only doing Monday now for almost 3 months.
That's 9 episodes in. It's only only just over 2 months old. Yeah.
People are like, oh, you know, you're irrelevant. I'm like, dude, we're just getting started.
Yeah, correct.
But
correct.
And I'm not saying this because I'm offended. The comments mean nothing. I'm saying it because we don't need convincing.
No.
Like, we're cool.
No.
We know this. And
Yeah.
I know there's quite a few of you who are successful and you would agree.
Yeah.
What I would love for people to learn from this podcast is that those comments don't help, they don't hurt us, they hurt you. In the sense that you're disparaging anyone who's putting themselves above the precipice. Yep. It's a bit like a periscope. They're popping their head up and then you're just there going, whack, go back down. Yep. Because you don't want them to do well. And
then you're like, why doesn't anybody stand up?
Bro, honestly. And, you know, I made the comment, like I had that big rant on Monday and G was like, that was brilliant. I'm glad you said that. And I'm like, oh, I'll listen to her whinging. I wasn't whinging.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whinge. I'm saying, like, when you go through that, whether it's through business, through speaking up like we did COVID, whatever it is, it's called like a baptism of fire.
Yep.
And a lot of people fear that. Mm-hmm. What I went through, the national humiliation, most people could never. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm saying I happen to have gone through it.
Yeah, the vast majority of people fold and would never stick their face back out in public.
Correct.
Again. Yep.
I was meant to be an example. I was meant to make everyone else go, oh, fuck, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. And I know I've said it 100 times. I knew that if I didn't get back up, I would be the example.
Yep.
They would have won.
Yep.
And it was very hard to do so. I'm not going to rehash the story. But I just get so sad when I see this across the board in Australians, whether it's got nothing to do with politics. It just seems to be like, I want to work. I want to have the nice house with the 4 bedrooms, the brand new car. I want the Ford Ranger. I want my missus to have the Range Rover Evoque, but we only want to work 30 hours a week,
That's
or
right.
38 hours a week, or work from home 2 days a week.
Oh, excuse me. Only working 4 days a week. Thank you
4
very
days
much
a week.
now.
We want to have the holiday in Bali while we stay in the rich person's villa. We want to be able to go and buy Louis Vuitton and then go to the footy and do all these extra things. But we don't actually want to work for it. You deserve all of that. Just so I'm clear, you deserve all of that. But you can't expect to get it for free.
Yeah, correct.
And you can't expect to get it without sacrificing something. A sacrifice is not half an hour of overtime.
Yeah.
A sacrifice is not having been employed for 10 years.
Yeah.
A sacrifice is going above and beyond the average person. A sacrifice is going, hey, once the kids are in bed, I'm going to go back into the study and I'm going to work until 11 o'clock tonight and I'll go and sleep and go and do my normal day. But in these small pockets of time outside of my normal life, I'm going to squeeze in something. I'm going to build something.
100%. And so for people that are sitting there going, oh, it's all very well and good for you to say, but it doesn't matter how hard I work, my boss won't notice me. Then start a side hustle.
Yeah,
Start
man.
your own business. change to a different employer, change career paths and industries if you need to. Don't pretend that you're some victim who has no choices and no options. This country offers you more opportunity and more choices than the vast majority of the human population has had at any other time in history.
Do you know where the money is right now in Australia?
Where is the money right now, Carmen?
The money is in the regular services that you and I overlook.
Right.
It's in the small services like your lawn mowing businesses, your garden businesses, your cleaning, washing, all of those things, those rudimentary things that the average person is so stressed out about, can't do.
Yeah.
You could build a system around it. I told the story, of my Brazilian client. And then, I got torn apart for that.
Well, that was hilarious. Can we touch on that? Because a lot of the comments and even with the Fash article that came out about us the next day, they said that we were telling migrant sob stories.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. We were telling migrant success stories. And the reason that they want to tear those success stories down is exactly what I said before. It makes them look bad.
I was genuinely shocked by that. And if anything upsets me, it's that. I'm like, that was a fucking rags to riches story that happened recently in this country.
We should all be celebrating that.
Why aren't you happy about that?
Yeah, because it wasn't them.
And the point is, he was a Brazilian guy who came in from the favelas.
Sorry, how many is a Brazilian? I know million, billion, trillion.
Brazilian.
When do we get to Brazilian? How many is that? You said he was a Brazilian guy. So that's a lot. It's a lot of people.
Huh?
Oh, never mind. Sometimes my dad jokes just don't work, do they? Move on.
I don't get it.
Million, billion, Brazilian.
Oh.
How many is a Brazilian?
I say a Bisquillion.
Well, okay, fine, but that's not what it's Brazil. It's not Bisquil. The country is not called Bisquil.
I don't get
it's
the
called
joke.
Brazil. Never mind. Move on.
I feel derailed.
Sorry, I interrupted your rant.
Do you know what I have right now? Is like if Roy. Oh no, Roy doesn't know.
You've got like a spinning question, a spinning wheel of death.
It's the beach ball from the Mac just going. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I was actually really disheartened by that. Of all the things you could attack us for.
But honestly, these people are just going to curse their own futures. That's all they're doing.
But no, this is the thing. I get really passionate. I'm trying to not get all spicy culls because apparently I can't do that either. But I don't.
Sorry, who said that?
Oh, God. The comments. They're
Fuck him.
Yeah, this woman,
Fuck
she
'em.
gets too angry.
No, spicy cast. Let's go.
Sorry. I really resent this part of our culture. They keep talking. Okay, all right, you ready?
Yep.
Ready. I'm ready to go.
I'm dialed in.
These nationalists, these Australia first, right, whatever they call themselves, right? I call them the Nazis because it's just easier because essentially you're one step away from being a fascist.
Yeah.
You sit there and say you want to defend Australian culture and Australian values. What are they?
Yeah.
You can't even define them. You keep harking back to the 1960s when you weren't even there. And most of the people that were building Australia were migrants. I saw a comment today saying that no one should be able to get citizenship if you come from another country. Citizenship should only be a birthright. And I'm like, so basically, and this person admits that they too would fall under that because they're the product of migrants. I don't understand this mentality. So you want to regress the entire country and de-incentivize people of high value that can come and make this country better.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking about the migration today, just FYI. Put that aside. I'm talking about Australians want to protect a culture of what? Apathy, of not caring, of not giving a shit, of getting drunk on VBs and driving around in divvy vans and spending the weekend at the beach. Is that what you want? You all want to go back to being production workers at the Ford factory?
Yeah.
A lot of the success that happened and the money that was cultivated in this country came through the mining sector and funneling that money into the corporations. That's where the wealth was built. The reason most people were able to graduate to the middle class is because we needed engineers, we needed sales teams, we needed to build massive systems around our fossil fuels. And then all of a sudden you're saying, no, we don't want that. We don't want any of these migrants who came here. We don't want any of these people that came here and built shit in the country. We want to go back. That version of Australia doesn't exist.
That version of Australia never existed without migrants.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, they get all angry about this. And then at the same time, they're saying that we can't use people that live in the Philippines.
Yeah.
We can't use other people who are more productive. We're meant to use Australians because Australian first. Find me an Aussie who will work. Find me one. And then this guy is like, oh, I own a business. That's not true. I'm like, what business? How many employees do you have? I work with people who have 20, 30, 100 employees. They are screaming for people to work. And this version of Australia, this 1960s, like everyone had a home, everyone had a family, that is a fallacy. That's not real. You've romanticized this ideal of Aussie culture. It's never been a thing. You are thinking back to this cute version that we portrayed in movies like The Castle.
That's right. That's right. So it's actually about to get so much worse for us as well. So I'm working on a keynote address. I've been invited to speak to do my first ever corporate gig, which is going to be really interesting. So that'll unfold, I don't know, later this year, sometime next year. I'm not quite sure, but I'm working on that right now. And the topic that I'm going with is the global return to excellence.
Dude, this is literally freaking here.
So worldwide, Australians don't realise how much of a bubble our media and our politicians have us in. The rest of the world is gleefully walking away from net zero, gleefully walking away from wokeness, gleefully walking away from the letter brigade, gleefully walking away from all of that nonsense with a sigh of relief, saying, oh, thank God that little round of madness is over.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we have Australians wanting a 4-day work week.
Our government, our corporate sector are trying to push deeper into it. And what's going to happen is, whether we like it or not, we have to compete on a global scale. We already can't, because our power prices and our industrial relations law and so many other things just make Australia uncompetitive. But in addition to that now, what's going to happen is, or what is already happening, is that worldwide companies are abandoning these pretenses and these non-productivity related ESG, environmental sustainability and governance, DEI, diversity, equity and inclusivity stuff, all of that's going by the by now. And companies are getting back to basics and saying, who do we hire that is going to do the best possible job so that we can make the most money for our shareholders, which is what a company should always have been about. Globally, that is already happening. In Australia, we are out of step with that. Now, what that's going to lead to, and I'm making this as a prediction because it's for me, it's so crystal clear, and Australians are gagging for it. It just makes me sick. Australia is going to become increasingly unproductive, which means that the Australian government is going to be called upon to protect Australian industries even more than we already have. And it fails every damn time, but we're going to go down this road over and over again. Protect Australian industries because they're uncompetitive globally. Now, I agree. If we're uncompetitive globally, let's fix our competitiveness issue. Let's fix our cost of government, our cost of doing business, our cost of living, our cost of energy, all of that. Let's fix that so that we can become competitive. I'm not saying do nothing. But certainly what we shouldn't do is lock ourselves off from the global economy using things like tariffs and quotas to protect Australian industries or subsidies, which is exactly what we are going to do. And what happens in turn is you end up with industries, not only can they not compete globally, but actually now your workforce, you're now into a negative loop here. We talked on Monday about Henry Ford and how his objective was to get to the point where people working in his factory could afford one of the cars made from his factory. What's going to happen increasingly in Australia, what is already happening increasingly in Australia, is people who used to be able to afford the thing that they produced are increasingly not able to afford it because our productivity is declining. If we don't fix the underlying problem, it's going to get worse. And it's going to be the rate at which it gets worse is going to be made worse by the fact that the rest of the world is walking away from the nonsense.
You can see from my notes here, I've got so much written down because this is something I'm so passionate about. You know, and I see it in the comments, and the reason I get so passionate about it is like, this is a false fallacy. It's not real. You are putting a glass ceiling on yourself. And I just wish I could just... So all of you, Oddies, anyone who hates us, who's listening to this, please know there is room for you. It's just you haven't figured out the recipe yet. And Topher said that about what you've done with YouTube. Like you've been doing it for 16 years and then all of a sudden this year it's worked out. You found your secret sauce.
Well, specifically because I put aside delivering what I wanted to do in the packaging that I wanted to put it in. Now, I still do what I want to do. I haven't betrayed my purpose and my values and what it is, the good that I want to do in the world. But I finally stopped trying to package it into the type of video formats that I wanted to do. And I just went, okay, what are people watching? What do people actually want from me? How do you want me to package what I do? And as soon as I put what I do into your packaging, the packaging you were looking for, all of a sudden things have taken off.
100%. And that's the market, like helping
responding.
You.
Yeah, that's feedback.
You know, and I say this to everyone, the market always sorts you out. And, you know, disparaging entrepreneurs, that's what we need. Like we actually need
we need to be disparaging entrepreneurs?
No, that's what they're doing.
Yes.
We need to incentivize more people to get creative, to think outside the box. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, things are tough now. They've always been tough. There's always been limiting factors to be able to get things off the ground. Not to say, of course, I've already talked about all the red tape. I know all that. But there are ways around it. And a lot of it is using the global workforce that we have. There are ways to do things that weren't possible before. You know, if we hired all these people in Australia, we just couldn't afford it. The tax would be out of
correct.
out of control.
Correct. It's just not possible.
And then trying to manage them, trying to get them on side, trying to make sure they show up for
attitudes,
work.
All the attitudes.
3 podcasts ago, we talked about how Gen Z, this is not me saying it. This is not a slur. This is not me trying to attack Gen Z. This is the data. They don't know how to work in the workplace. Not saying they don't know what to do in their job. They don't know professional acumen.
Yeah, the etiquette.
They get their mums to call the boss for the difficult conversations. 11% of Gen Z have had their parents go and do the negotiations for them. Can you imagine? How embarrassing. Fuck. Anyway, so I've got some things I want to read out here, right? I was going to talk on how our IQs are falling, but I think we've given enough people enough to get mad about. But so the Reserve Bank of Australia has shown that our productivity is declining, and they're assuming it's now at a 0.7% speed limit. It is crawling along. And, you know, we've got the productivity summit happening. I don't think that's about productivity in labour. That's productivity as the country as a whole. I'm talking about...
That's about the government raising more money is actually what that's about.
I'm talking about the individual, like how de-incentivized everyone is to actually rock up and care and show pride. And actually I did get a comment on Monday when I was talking about people and careers. They're like, oh, you said 4 well-paid careers. And you know, you're talking about having pride in these well-paid careers. People don't have pride in their work because it's just work to get them by. And I was like, hang a minute. No, I'm going to unpack that one. Yeah. And I told the story. I have had so many shit jobs. Yeah. I've worked in retail at Lorna Jane and 2XU. When I was younger, I worked at Macca's, and then I've worked in multiple cafes. I've worked in a hotel. I used to clean the holiday homes in Port Fairy. Yep. I got $14 an hour to do that, and I'd go into those bougie houses and clean up all the shit, literally. I have, during COVID, actually, this is the story I told. Obviously, COVID, none of us could work, yada, yada, yada. And a friend of mine owns quite a few restaurants and cafes along the Great Ocean Road in Torquay. Yeah. And there's the Anglesey kiosk. And as you know, with those summer towns, they don't often open throughout the year. Sure. They're only open for that small time.
Holiday season, yeah.
And so COVID devastated that region because they were closed for the one time of the year that they make their money. Yeah. And so the Anglesey kiosk were like, we'll just open up as like a little hole-in-the-wall coffee shop so that locals can come and get their coffee. And it did relatively well. And so I went from being a high-paid professional to going and working as a barista. And I was earning, I don't know, what was it, like $20 or so an hour, whatever the minimum wage was. I don't know. And I'd get up at 5, I'd drive from Torquay to Anglesey, and I'd go in and make everyone's coffees. And you could say that was below me. I was back in hospitality, and I even had someone say, "Oh, that's embarrassing for you." Yeah, I was like, "Was it? I actually had fun."
Yeah, and this is the attitude. If you believe the lie that there is a job that is beneath you, then I'm sorry, whether you accept it or not, you are accepting the premise that there is a job that is above you, or there is something that is above you.
And that's the thing. My job was to make coffees. I made coffees, and I'd go clean the toilets, and then I'd go and stack all the fridges, and then at times when the chef was busy and run off his feet, I'd go in there and help him make some. I'd fry up the eggs or whatever. Yeah. And I had gloves on. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything I shouldn't have been doing, but. The thing is, I can make a lot of money as a photographer. I command a high fee, but I just had just as much fun making coffees. Yeah. It's an attitude. It's not the job.
So I moved into a swanky apartment in Fitzroy before I got married. I lived there for 4 years. I was renting, and I moved in there. I was still working at the warehouse. I was still driving forklifts and so forth. So I actually went into management there, and then I actually left management, and I went back onto the floor driving forklifts because it was just way better. So I was still working there, but I'd begun freelancing in the film industry. I was doing TV commercials and corporate videos and that sort of stuff. And things were good. So I ended up resigning from my job at the warehouse because they'd lost their contract with Coles anyway. I've told that story before. That was all going to shut down. So I resigned early and focused on my freelancing. And it went really well for a little while. And then it didn't. Boom and bust, as a lot of freelancing is. Always. Especially in that industry. That's a really tough industry. And so what did I do? Well, I started walking up and down Brunswick Street and Johnson Street and all the other ones, handing my resume into coffee shops and saying, I'll make coffees. Yeah. And sure enough, a place on Brunswick Street got me in to make coffees, and I ended up basically working full-time hours from there. I was opening up in the morning. I was the first person there early in the morning before the sun rose. No matter what the weather was like, I was in there turning everything on, getting the coffee machine fired up, getting everything ready, and making coffees until the early afternoon or sometimes mid-afternoon. And that is how I survived as a film industry professional, a freelance professional who was in between contracts. And it was a long time in between contracts there for a while. And yes, I fell behind on my rent. I've had the experience of having my phone cut off. I've had the experience of having my electricity cut off. Things got really tough, right? But I worked my ass off and I managed to get through that. And I got more contracts to then, because I was earning shit money, obviously, as a barista. And then the boss turned out to be crooked anyway. He wasn't paying me properly and all kinds of other stuff happened. Like I've been on the receiving end of all of that. But actually my worst ever job, which I've talked about before, I'm going to touch it very briefly, was when I was in my late teens. I helped a guy who had a big cleaning contract at the Ajax Fasteners facility down in Braeside. And they made screws and nuts and bolts and fasteners, literal industrial fasteners. We used to manufacture those in Australia. That's gone now. And they had all these machines that would cut threads and would leave swarf, little coils of metal cutting off all the threads. And that would drop down the machines into a conveyor belt that was buried in the floor, these long conveyor belts stretching underneath the floor with metal grates on top. And that would carry it out to bins out the back. The problem was a lot of the swarf would fall off the side and it would gather over time. Yeah. So they were shutting down for 2 weeks over Christmas in order to do a big clean out of this whole factory, this whole facility. My job was to crawl down into those long pits with the conveyor belts still physically there. They obviously weren't turned on, but they were still physically in my way, using a metal shovel, reaching down into the very bottom of this pit, scooping out swarf, which is heavy, like it's oil and grease and metal, putting it into buckets and then handing it up to the guy who was up the top, who, because I was the lowest of the low in the pecking order, I'm the guy down the bottom of the pit doing that. It was a heat wave that particular summer. The place stank. The place was so incredibly oppressively hot. It was holiday time, and I was on $15 an hour. Yeah. And I got my ass down there every single day, apart from Christmas Day itself. Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, the whole lot. We had visitors come over and visit the family from New Zealand. They were there for a week. I saw them on Christmas Day, and that was about it. Yeah. Right? Because I got my ass down there and I did the job that I had to do. Now, I'm not saying that as a sob story. I'm saying if you're not willing to do that, then chances are you haven't got what it takes to actually push through and become really successful. So don't look at someone who is successful and pretend like you could have been them.
Yeah. I hate that term sob story. It's not a sob story. It's just a story.
It's a story.
Why are you making it sound...
It's my experience.
Yeah. Yep. Like, I think everyone has those moments where things were a bit rough and it's all relative to you and what you're going through, but it's not a sob story. It's like, hey, this is something I went through and this was a big part of how I formed my character. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a sob story.
And it's why now doing the hours that I do doesn't feel hard.
Yeah. I could tell you so many stories and so many different things I did. Like when my business started to really hit the skids and things were really struggling, in 2018, I went and got a job at a ad agency as a photographer. And it was, I don't want to say it's shit work. It wasn't shit work. It just wasn't exciting work. My job was to go and take e-commerce photos of all of the different SKUs for Lincraft. And like we're talking,
Is that like infinite white background kind of thing?
Yeah, infinite white background. And like there's embroidery thread in 1,000 colours and I'm shooting every one individually and then etching it out. And then it was like every button they've ever had and all the haberdashery and then it's like all the weird crafty things. Like insane amount of SKUs, right? Yeah. Balls of yarn. And I was doing that 3 days a week and getting paid $350 a day as a subby whilst running my company. Yeah, wow. And is that embarrassing? I was the director of a company that was from the outside looking in, was doing really good. Yeah. And I'm working 3 days a week at the agency because I was trying to save the company. Yeah. And, it sucked, man, because I went from paying myself a really good wage and having a really good life to, hey, I've got to go back to work to save my company. Yeah. I don't tell these stories to make myself sound good or bad. It's just that's life. That's my story.
This is how it is. And if you want to be a professional racing driver, you're going to have to crash a few cars. Yeah. This is the bottom line. And you listen to any interview with any Formula One or racing team manager, and they will tell you that if their driver hasn't yet dropped a couple of wheels in the dirt, during practice, hasn't had the back end step out of them,
edge yet.
Then they haven't found the limit yet. You have to get to the point where things are starting to go wrong and you're starting to make mistakes, and then you go, okay, I've gone far enough in that direction. And so, but then people who've never tried, people who've never driven the race car, so to speak, sit there and go, oh, well, you didn't handle that very well.
It's always the armchair experts.
Right, it's the armchair experts. It's like, well, no, it's the man in the arena. You and I are in the arena.
Have a read of this, guys, if you're interested. This has come out. This is the Productivity Commission. This is last year's bulletin, 2024. Some pretty interesting things in there about the state of our economy and what's happening. And, there's wages stagnation. Productivity across lots of sectors is down.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really bad when you read this.
And it's gotten worse this year, just with the sheer amount of non-productive jobs, government jobs that have been created.
I'm not going to read it all for you, but this is, from the government, so go and read it. It's there. Sorry.
It adds up at the moment to about $14,000 per person per year.
That we're losing.
That's what we've lost from our peak productivity, which was pre-COVID, to now. And it's not COVID that killed our productivity. It's all of the new non-productive jobs, all the government spending, all the inflation, the cost of energy, all of that is what's stealing our productivity.
Graph.
It equals $14,000.
It's
so
just
people can whinge all they want about, you insulted me for, you insulted Australians for not working hard enough. You say we need to be more productive. Okay, well, you can have a whinge and feel better about yourself, or you can have $14,000 more dollars. Which would you prefer?
When you read this and you dig into the data, I mean, like I said, I don't want to oversimplify things. There's obviously lots of different things that contributed to it, but I can't also control big business.
Yeah,
but do you know what I can control?
Policy.
I can control incentivizing people who want to listen. Like, guys, yes, all those things are real. They all exist. But that's the whole thing. That's why I'm so enamored with the whole chicken in the noodle aisle. It's the small, tiny details that compound over time that people think are irrelevant. People were laughing about the whole supermarket thing. No, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
The standard you walk past is the standard you're willing to accept. It's simple.
This is why when I did my course, which is available still available online at goodpeoplebreakbadlaws.com, my masterclass, the very first one is about focus.
Yeah.
Because you've only got a certain amount of bandwidth.
Yes.
And you can choose to shift your focus to focus on all the reasons why you can't succeed, or you can shift your focus onto yourself and the things that you can control and find that actually you can succeed after all.
Yes.
And that's just a matter of your focus.
And I will say this, just so it's very clear, that excellence isn't elitist. And you need to slap that out of yourselves.
Yep, 100%.
But since we're talking about the Productivity Summit, I've got a lot of stuff here.
Oh, goodness. This is not a productivity summit. That is a lie.
Okay, so I've got this here. Labor is reshaping Australia's productivity policy under Treasurer Jim Chalmers, aiming to create a new progressive productivity. Whenever I see progressive, I just shudder.
Yeah.
That aligns with modern labour values and responds to challenges like energy transition, AI, demographics, and geopolitics. This marks a sharp break from the pro-market, deregulation-focused reforms of the Hawke-Keating-Howard era. So, key points, and then we can discuss. Labor's dominance. Australia is in a period of long-term labour ascendancy, likely lasting into the 2030s. There's a productivity shift. Chalmers wants productivity at the centre of Labor's second term, moving away from past reliance on deregulation, tax reform, and market forces. The core agenda elements. Reject industrial relations deregulation. You look like you want to say something.
Oh, well, so we're going to focus on productivity, but we're not going to talk about the three things that most affect productivity.
Don't be ridiculous.
Right? I mean, yeah.
Don't be stupid.
Productivity is just like the dust that we can sprinkle over the economy. We don't have to talk about the things that are destroying productivity.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so the core agendas for this thing is the reject industrial relations deregulation, avoid a GST rise or a major tax mix switch, likely higher taxes to fund deficits rather than spending cuts, strong government-led industry policy and workforce skills
More
push.
regulation. Mm-hmm.
A renewables transition at the heart of productivity growth.
Yeah, because that's going to help our productivity.
Nothing says more productivity to me when my energy bills are going through the roof. Yeah, awesome. Digital tech and AI positioned as major growth drivers. You mean by a big, massive company Atlassian slashing a workforce by 150 by using AI? Sure. Okay.
It's extraordinary. The level of ignorance that we now have baked into the Australian population regarding economics and politics that allows headlines and stories like what I'm seeing around this Productivity Commission, allows the Prime Minister to come out and say nonsense like this is about productivity, but we're not going to talk about all the things that are destroying productivity, and yet get away with it.
I think the biggest thing, and again, I know it's an oversimplification, but these are people who have never worked a day
Yeah.
in the private sector.
Yeah.
They don't understand it. They don't understand consequence. They don't understand budgets. They don't understand that, you can't just have your way all the time. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
And money doesn't just emerge out of thin air. The reason we get wealthier, I've said this so many times before, but it's so important. If we on average create more wealth than we consume, and we're all consuming all the time, whether we like it or not, if we on average create more than we consume, the world gets richer, Australia gets richer, we get richer, our children are better off.
Yeah.
If we on average consume more than we create, we make the future poorer for ourselves and for our children and for the rest of the country. You cannot have a government that is taking now more than half of people's paychecks and squandering it on unproductive jobs.
And giving it to people who don't actually...
Giving it to people that don't actually need it. And NDIS is a great example of this.
We've got that to talk
people
about.
always come at me with this, like, well, I know somebody who really needs NDIS. I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
It was built for you.
the acknowledged problem that there are now millions of Australians claiming NDIS
Yeah.
and claiming to be disabled and getting support that don't actually need it. I had someone arguing with me in the comments today that I have no right to say that horse riding is not necessary for someone's medical treatment.
Oh, fuck off. That's like saying that everyone deserves a Thermomix.
Right, this is insane. Taxpayer-funded helmets and riding gear so that someone can,
In one of the most
NDIS,
elitist and expensive
correct.
sports.
And when I bought I bought a couple of mountain bikes for me and my son. I paid my own money for them that I earned. Actually, it was mostly out of when I actually was building bikes for a little while there. Because again, literally just earlier this year. Right, in order to make ends meet, we're trying to figure out how do we survive as a family before things sort of began to get a bit of momentum now with all of my stuff online. I went and built bikes for a local bike shop. Like, I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for people that want to argue that, oh, it's too hard. No, get your ass into gear and get it done. Anyway, so I went back to the bike shop and I said, okay, yeah, and I got a half price bike and for myself, and I got a bike for my son. And so that's right. When I was in there getting ready because I built the bikes with my son to show him how they kind of go together, another dad walks in with a little kid who's walking. He's ambulatory. He's communicating. He's talking. He gets shown a bike that's the right size for his son. And he then turns around and says to the salesperson, oh, this is going on the NDIS. And the implication was, go and find me something more expensive. And they went and looked at other bikes.
But of course.
And I'm sitting there going, I'm sorry. No one needs a bicycle on taxpayer funds.
No.
Now, if your child needs a bicycle because you can see that it benefits them in some really significant way developmentally, and you can't afford to buy one, go and talk to the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
Go on Facebook Marketplace. Go onto any of these places. You will find a perfectly serviceable bike that will accomplish whatever the developmental objective that you as a parent who bears primary responsibility for that child can see that child needs. Nobody needs a taxpayer-funded bicycle. And it is morally wrong that people try and pretend that someone needs horse riding as part of their medical care. This is bankrupting this country. And what it's doing is it's actually going to completely destroy the futures of people who really are disabled. Because if you think it's hard to be disabled in a rich country, wait till they try being disabled in a bankrupt country. And that is where we're headed.
Yeah.
Now, to come back to where we were. All of that together, the fact that Australians cannot see this is the reason why I talk about Plan B.
Yeah.
Right? I am sitting here raising the alarm about the gaping giant holes in the bottom of this ship called Australia.
Yeah.
And I look around, and yes, there are some people responding, but actually in the main, what I see are people smashing bigger holes.
Yeah.
And people complaining that the hole in front of them isn't big enough and they deserve a bigger hole. Right? They don't see it as that's what it is, but they're like, well, I deserve a bigger share of this water that's all pouring through the side of the boat.
Yeah.
That's actually what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but my family is not going to go down with your ship. I will fight tooth and nail for it, but there is a point where if things don't turn around at some point, there is a point where I take my family and we leave.
Did you watch that reel I sent you from Supercar Blondie?
I ignore as much as I can of what you... No, I did. Of course I did. Yeah, she talks about the fact that So Supercar Blondie, for those that don't know...
Shall I bring it up?
Yeah. Very successful car YouTuber or Instagrammer, TikToker, whatever. It's
Super successful now.
Probably, I think, arguably the most successful outside of like Top Gear.
Yeah. She's huge.
She's one of the big ones when it comes to cars. She literally point blank said, I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have succeeded if I didn't live in Dubai.
Yeah. She was like, I moved. Here we go. I'm going to play it because
Yeah,
I
play it.
actually thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And
I did like you until
Can we still
right
be friends?
now.
Yeah.
hang on. Sorry. I'll play it
We
again because you
can.
need the first bit.
Because I don't.
Oh, shit. Why does it do that?
I did.
Sorry, guys. Hang on. It just auto plays, but I want
Yeah.
it to not be
I
muted.
find it really frustrating.
I've never paid tax in my life.
I did like you until
Can we still
right
be friends?
now.
Yeah, yeah, no.
We
That's-
can.
Can we?
Because
oh,
I
thanks.
don't judge.
Oh, thanks,
I just
mate.
need to know what you know.
Yeah. I actually, well, the secret's been moved to Dubai straight out of university. I've never
So
had
you,
a job
you
outside
don't, you
of
don't
Dubai.
pay corporation tax.
No, we do now. It just came in
Okay.
a couple of years
But
ago,
you
but it's
basically-
low. It's
right.
very low.
No income tax.
No income tax. However,
No national insurance on your staff for 15%.
no. But we do have to pay. We do have to pay their insurance, but it's no.
No, but national
extra.
insurance is a tax. It's not insurance.
I don't understand a word you're saying. It's tax.
Yeah. But the,
Something. I've just met with the federal organization here. Their goal for the next, I think it's either it was 5 or 10 years, can't remember. Over the next 5 to 10 years, they want to bring in 10,000 creators to live in Dubai. And what they're going to do is they're going to give you a golden visa, which basically means you can renew it for the rest of your life. So you can live here for the rest of your life. They will set up any kind of studios that you want, like your business, whatever's going to help you thrive as a content creator here, like podcaster, whatever it is. They will help you set up that infrastructure. They will help you get the staff that you need. They will. That is their goal. They want people to succeed. 100%.
UK, are you listening?
Yeah. No, they.
Australia, are you friggin' listening?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And
I'm just...
So this is where Andrew Henderson comes in. So the nomad capitalist, I talk about him from time to time, but if you haven't looked him up yet, look up the nomad capitalist Andrew Henderson. His whole slogan is go where you are treated best.
Yes.
And Australians don't realise that we are all treated really, really poorly by our government here in Australia.
We are beaten dogs.
Look no further than what they're doing right now in Canberra with this alleged
But
productivity
not
summit.
only are we beaten dogs, we beat each other.
Correct.
That's like built into our culture.
Anyone that speaks up and goes, hey, we're being beaten up by our government gets beaten by the others.
Yeah. And perfect example, I just to really drive this home, is look what happened to me in TOEFL after Monday.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
that's the Aussie culture
Oh
you
no,
guys
they're
are trying to
becoming
protect.
successful. We need to try and drag them back down again.
Yeah, it's irrelevant what we say. It's the same old playbook. Oh, someone says something, someone does something,
Yeah.
we should go and chop them down. And just so you know, because I know they're watching, I'm not a victim. I
Yeah,
don't
no.
feel like
No,
a
no, no,
victim.
no.
I'm just merely pointing out the silliness.
So here's the bottom line. Your first loyalty has to be to yourself and your family. Now, I would argue
oath.
if you're a father or a mother, your first loyalty has to be to your kids and then to yourself and your husband or your wife. But ultimately, your first loyalty is to them.
Yeah.
And if that means moving to a different country, if that means moving to a different industry, a different town, a different place, having a different group of friends, a different school, a different church, it doesn't matter. Everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
And-
I've said this before. I'm not going down with the ship. I'm just not. Like, call me a traitor. I don't care. You know?
No, but this is my point. This is what I learned in Venezuela when I sat there, and I told the story over and over again. And yes, if you're playing the drinking game, you got to have a shot now. I sat there and I looked into the eyes of a man who fought for his country, fought for Venezuela, and didn't get his family out in time. And he lives with the weight of looking at his grandson who is suffering the effects of malnutrition because they cannot get basics in that country anymore. And don't think that we're immune to that. And he lives with that weight every single day.
Yeah.
And I know what that looks like on a man's face.
Yeah.
And I will never be that man. My first loyalty is to my family.
Yeah. That's why I hated that sentiment, that comment, like, oh, if you weren't born here, you should never be a citizen. And like, I don't want to be stuck on one land.
Yeah.
If it's going to shit.
And the ego of that, because I was born here, I've earned all the stuff that my ancestors did. No, you didn't. You like, this is the level of entitlement of these people. I got born on this continent, therefore I get to benefit from all of what our ancestors did on this continent.
Yeah.
But no one who wasn't born on this continent is allowed to come over here and further contribute to the country. Can I make one more really controversial point? The best thing that can happen to this country is that we get more people who are already adults ready to work.
Yeah.
Because a new child born is a drain for the first 16, 17, 18, or if they happen to be a leftist and they study an arts degree, for the first 35 or 40 years of their life. Okay. When a migrant comes over here and does the right thing, I'm not talking about the idiots and the troublemakers. We've talked about them to death, and the government needs to deal with the crime and all the rest of it. All that's a given. But when a migrant or a migrant family show up here in their 20s, 30s, 40s, ready to work, we just got about $250,000 worth of human capital for free. We didn't pay for their mother's childcare when the mother was pregnant with them. We didn't pay for their childbirth. We didn't pay for any of their food, their clothing, their accommodation, or their education. So you can complain about the education standards. Whatever their standard is, we paid nothing for that. We just got it for free.
We just got a worker.
We just got another person into our country for free. And you can whinge all you want about population growth, all the rest of it. Wait until the population goes into decline.
It already is.
Well,
aside from immigration,
immigration, it is.
The birth rate's down.
But we need to cut this idea that there's something uniquely special about someone born on this continent to white European ancestors that gives us some unique claim to this place. No, it doesn't. Go and do your own work.
Yeah. I'm going to die on this hill too, and you're welcome to clip this and post it all over X.
Please do, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I would much rather flock to a country that incentivizes people to build success, and you're around like-minded people who want to cultivate a place where everyone is thriving and everyone's contributing and cultivate massive wealth like Dubai, than I will to sit here among all of these Australians who are fighting amongst themselves about whether we're progressive enough or more nationalist enough, and sitting there and trying to chop down everyone who tries to push themselves ahead. I do not value that in Australia at all.
Now, I think you'll agree with me, though, when I say my hope is to see Australia shake this off.
I would bloody love to.
Kick it and actually get on with being a fantastic country again.
But to the point, that's literally why I'm doing this podcast.
That is literally why we do what we do.
You know, and just to fucking drive it home, I didn't say to Topher, let's do a political podcast. I could, to be honest, aside from the fact that we're in the shit, if we weren't, I wouldn't be doing this podcast.
You'd happily be doing your photography.
Like, I don't want to be an economist. I don't want to be a political commentator.
Yeah.
I am a average Joe Aussie, middle class, working small business owner that has had a gutful. That is my role on this podcast. I'm not here to be some fucking journalist. That you like that. That's fine. That's your role.
I'm going to correct you. I do not call myself a journalist. I am a commentator.
Okay.
There is an important distinction there. I am a commentator.
I'm an observationist. I'm someone who's enamored by culture. I'm in the arts industry. I do what I do because I am trying to shake that shit out of Australians, that mindset. Like, we must suffer and we've got to be here and it's so hard and I'm a battler. Shut up.
Yeah. And people say, oh, well, just leave then. You know, why do you, like, you don't care about Australia? No, the reason why we're speaking up is because we care.
We're trying to.
We're doing our best.
We're trying to do something.
In the same way as I spoke up during COVID, not in the expectation that I was actually going to save Victoria from Daniel Andrews. It was very clear that Victoria wanted it and they still do, right? I spoke up so that I would have a clear conscience when I left.
Yeah.
And guess what? I left.
Yeah.
I'm speaking up now in the hope, against all odds and against all of the evidence, that Australians might wake up and actually save themselves. Now, if that happens, wonderful, fantastic, happy days. I will gladly stay here because I love Australia. The whole reason I'm speaking up is because I love Australia. But mark my words, if things don't get better, I'm not going to condemn my kids to being stuck here.
Do you know what this feels like? Being a parent and being disappointed in your kids. I'm not a parent, but I imagine it feels a little bit like this. Like, you are doing your best to parent. You're doing your best to give people options and open their mind and talk to them. And then you get to a moment one day where you're like, well, they've got to fucking learn the hard way.
And the reason why you try and save them from themselves is because you love them.
Yes.
And that's exactly what's happening here.
And this is my thing. Like, I know I'm tough love.
Let me do that so it doesn't get spilled on your computer.
Yeah, that's an expensive exercise. We'll do this. We've already talked about that. But, you know, like, I think people misunderstand me at times. I do get very passionate, but I care too much. That's why I get so worked up.
Yeah, exactly.
I care too much to my own detriment. You know, I think about things. I stay up at night. How can I say that better? How can I talk to that person better? To the most part, it's not worth it.
All right. So we talked about Australia enough. We're on the topic of this productivity summit. Shall we talk about a few specifics?
Hang on. I do have an article here. Where are we? We were jumping all over the NDIS. I was going to go into NDIS.
Well, I mean, okay. We can do that a bit more. Yep.
I have
I've sort of said my piece, but
I
yep.
have numbers.
Okay.
Just so people know. I mean, I know we talk about it at times, but here's some numbers for you. So, in Australia, 739,000 Australians are now on the NDIS. 11% of children aged 5 to 7 are participants. 16% of 6-year-old boys are on the scheme compared to 7% of girls. Autism and developmental delay are the most common diagnoses, particularly among boys. In the last 12 months, 80,000 people joined, with 26,500 entering in the last quarter. The NDIS cost $46.3 billion in the last financial year.
More than defence.
Cost grew by 10.8%, slightly under the forecasted at 12%. This made the program $520 million cheaper than expected, but when you cost $46.3 billion,
Yeah, that's not much.
that's short change. But it remains one of the federal budget's biggest pressures, bigger than defence.
Yep.
The government has set a goal to limit growth by 8% by mid-2026. But remember, the population's increasing.
Okay, sorry. Can we stop? Their plan is to limit growth by 8% over the next 12
To
months.
8%.
Yeah, sorry, to 8%. So we're already in mid-2025. They're trying to limit it to only an 8% increase in a single year. It's already unsustainable.
Yes.
And yet that's their ambition. Oh, hopefully it will only grow by another 8% per annum. 3-4 times the official inflation rate.
Who is the guy that Bill Shorten? This is Bill Shorten's little masterpiece?
I
isn't
actually
it?
don't remember whose
sure the
brainchild this was.
I'm pretty sure it was Bill Shorten. Feel free to correct me in the comments.
Hmm.
It was never meant to be this. But this is the thing. It's like, what do you say? Perverse incentives.
Well, this is scope creep.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
But this is like, you've given people an inch, they will always take a mile. You make it easy enough, then people go, well, yeah. It's a bit like I've made the comment before about saying that you don't have to prove that you're Aboriginal. So yeah, everyone can be Aboriginal and get the same benefits.
You get more of what you incentivize. And people say, oh, but people are either disabled or they're not. Well, no, there are people at the margins. Is someone is high functioning autism a disability? Well, I would say no. But if you can get the autism diagnosis, then now you can get on the scheme and you get disability benefits and you can start getting taxpayer money for a scheme that was meant for people who were, non-verbal, low-functioning autism or in wheelchairs or with any one of a range of different, genuine conditions that really harm your ability to work, to earn, to develop, etc.
Yeah.
That's who it was meant for. But the minute you say, hey, all you have to do is get a piece of paper from a doctor that says you have a disability,
Yeah, boom.
and then you're going to get extra stuff, whatever that stuff is. That's an incentive, and you will get people going, oh,
Well, you'll
really?
shop around for doctors, won't you?
Correct, shop around for doctors.
Well, this is the thing. It's like that Munchausen, is it Munchausen's
Munchausen
disease?
by proxy.
Yeah, Munchausen's by proxy. You'll try and convince your kid that, oh, honey, you are special. Then, oh, it's okay, and then go to the doctor and get... It's the same social contagion. And again, just to reiterate, if you do have a child
We're not talking about people that have actual
we're not talking about the
need.
actual people. We're talking about the sponges. And
Yep.
you
And
know they
they're
exist.
there. You know they're there, and you know that they're hurting you. If you are disabled or you have a loved one who is disabled, understand these people are hurting you. So don't come at us.
It's very similar. There was a study done, and I'm not going to pull it up now, but I've talked about it briefly before, about social contagions on TikTok, where young teenage girls, in their quest to try and fit in and stand out and develop their identities, will adopt the tics that are associated with certain mental disorders, whether it's borderline personality disorder, Tourette's syndrome. Let's use that one because people don't know what Tourette's is. All the little tics and the little things.
yeah.
They don't actually
Yelling
have
words.
them,
Yeah.
but they start having
That's
them.
a part of fitting in.
And
Yep.
then they start to convince themselves that they have it.
Yep.
So it's like that self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't actually have Tourette's syndrome, but they convince themselves they do. And it's no different to a lot of these parents who just claim their child's autistic or claim their ADHD. I'm not trying to minimize those of you who are. I'm merely saying there is an incentive
There is a
to
massive
be that
problem
now.
here. Yeah. And if you're genuinely disabled, please heed my warning. If you think it's hard to be disabled in a rich country, wait till you're disabled in a broke country. And that's what these pretenders are doing. They are driving this country towards that cliff. Now, the other thing as well is not only are people incentivized to try and get on, but once someone's on, and let's say someone has a legitimate need, right? Let's say someone they can't walk, right? They're in a wheelchair. They've got genuine need, okay? What a healthy society would do is say to that person, hey, we see that your situation's a tough one. Let's figure out the most dignified way for you to live, which is going to include them and the community around them figuring out what can you do? What employment, what gainful employment can you do to add value, to earn dignity, to have that place in society? And that might not be enough to cover all of their bills, in which case the society absolutely, through charity, we should absolutely get around that person and make sure that they can live a dignified life. But with them doing all that they can.
Yes.
And I accept that that's going to be very different for different people. But the principle, doing all that they can. What we've got in the NDIS is a system that incentivizes people to do as little as they can.
Do nothing.
The more disabled you are, the more support you get. There is a very fast, very easy pathway to having everything in your life laid out for you on a platter with you being able to be lazy. And that is just to convince yourself and your doctor that you can do nothing for yourself.
Yeah.
So we've created incentives that say, even for people that do have some level of genuine disability, forgetting the ones that just don't, but even for the ones that do, our system incentivizes them to actually play the victim rather than saying, here's what I can do. I will do all of that to the best of my ability, but I also need this help. That's a very different thing.
Yes. I want to play, if I can find it again. Where is it? G will kill me. He'd be like, not this again. Do you remember that little clip I sent you from the ABC of the two young girls?
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
You might be lucky, guys.
Yes, I remember it. I don't wish to see it again.
It was basically two young girls who were saying that I haven't had a chance to be diagnosed with ADHD yet.
But I'm sure I've got it.
So she's already said that she's autistic. She's already said that she's on support from NDIS. And then she said it was too expensive to be able to go and get diagnosed as ADHD.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she was non-binary. She was... So a they, them, she was a sex worker. So it was like, you guys have heard me say this like literally a billion times. It's a sash.
Well, yeah, at some
Collect
point,
all the patches.
At some point, you just yell bingo. Like at some
Right?
point, you've just lined them all up, right?
And I'm not saying that these aren't some real problems. And I know people think I'm quite cold-hearted about it. There's an incentive to be all of them all at once.
Correct.
You talk about victim mentality. That is the ultimate badge of honor. I'm non-binary. I'm this. I'm the, and I see it now in Instagram bios. Neurodivergent, neurospicy. Guys, it's not a badge of honor. If you actually have it, fair. I understand that. But using it as like some way of standing out in the crowd and putting it on your Instagram bio, this is terrible. And also, I mentioned this before as well. It de-incentivizes people from pursuing excellence. And again, excellence looks different for everyone. I'm not saying, again, that we all have to be Einstein. What I'm saying is pursue excellence to the best of your personal ability.
Correct.
That might look different for everyone.
Yep.
So long as, and you've heard that whole story. I think I've said this before. My definition of hell is getting to the end of my life and looking at the version of myself I could have been and seeing all the potential I wasted. That's my definition of hell. I think so few people step into that because of a fear of judgment or it feels too hard.
Yeah.
And we are now disincentivizing people from hard work because it's hard.
Yeah.
That is the best way to build resilience, character, self-esteem.
Yep.
It's not about money. It's about fortifying yourself.
But here's the good news in all of this. In this world that we have entered, young people that actually do have some get up and go, some initiative, that do actually take a bit of pride in themselves, in their work, in their productivity, in their behavior in the workplace, in the with their clients, in what have you, you guys will have a superpower.
Yes.
Because so many of your peers are not getting the basics. So I suggest you lean into it and you make the most of it.
100%. So, do you want a palette cleanse?
Sure.
I gave everyone a sneak peek before because I didn't change the screen quick enough. But you know how we're doing your photo shoot, not ours, your photo shoot next week?
Yes. Oh, dear. Terrifying.
Yeah. I sent you a style guide and I said you had to go shopping. You want to look at it on camera in front of everyone?
I haven't seen this yet.
No.
I saw the email and it struck fear into the very core of my being, and I have not clicked the button to open the email.
I was doing it last night and I was like going through all the men's stores and I was like, oh, gee, you'd look good in that. Oh,
So you and I, well, you, the audience, everyone watching, and I are going to experience this at the same time. And if you're just listening, well, I'm sorry, this might not be the most riveting part of the podcast.
we'll use descriptive words. But so
I see.
just to set the tone here.
Like that's gay. I would look like a knob jockey if I wore that.
Just hit my knee.
Are you trying to turn me into a hipster? Is that the sort of descriptive language?
You can use that.
Yeah, okay.
So the reason we're doing this is because every time I've taken photos of Topher, you are either in a t-shirt, you are in your own merch, or you're in clothes that don't fit you as well as they could.
I'm gorgeous. I am.
To someone you
there's
are.
just more of me to photograph. Okay, I fill
I
the
didn't
lens.
say you were fat.
I fill the lens. That's
that was
what I do.
your word. I was saying that you've merely purchased clothing that's not doing its job.
All right, show me what I should be doing.
Okay, hang on. I'll actually make it bigger on screen so we can mock you. Look at this man.
That is gorgeous. What is wrong with that?
I still
that is
want
a great,
that armchair.
That's a great jacket. It was a good armchair, but it was on its last legs. Let's be honest, it did not have much left in it.
No, but God, it photographed well.
Yeah.
That was just so you guys know, it was this distressed armchair. It's probably from like, I don't know, the 70s.
Are we giving people a sneak peek of the upcoming brand a little bit?
I was trying to avoid saying that out loud, but you just did.
Yeah, I just said that. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's not exactly it, but it's in that direction, isn't it? Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
So we are going through a much more, I'll do that so you can see it, smart
Okay.
casual look.
Okay, so the vibe I'm getting is that I need to take up golf.
It's not golf. You don't wear that to golf.
Sorry, but that's the person who gets to the end of work and says, "Oh, that was an exhausting sales meeting. I can't wait to hit the golf course."
This is smart corporate. This is someone that probably works in the creative industry that's not having to wear the suit and tie and doesn't look too stuffy. You're going to be comfortable but look presentable. You're not going to be wearing a fucking hoodie.
I see.
Hoodies are made for recreational purposes.
I see.
So I quite
I
like...
thought they were made for grifting purposes, but
Well, that
anyway,
too.
that might be just me. Yeah.
As we both are trying to sell hoodies
That's right.
at the
We're
same
both
time.
trying to sell hoodies. That's right.
So I wanted you to have this half zip jacket for a
Right.
couple of reasons. It looks really smart and it's still comfortable. And then you've got to have a good sweater. Now you'll notice one thing here. There is no black. And you'll notice this comment here. No black. Because you will not be buying anything black. It is banned.
Can I tell you something funny? I never used to wear black. My wardrobe all through my teens was autumn tones.
Okay.
So a little bit of blue, but mostly it was the tans, the greens, the khakis, the autumnal kind of
Earthy
tones,
hues,
earthy tones. Half zip jackets, absolutely. Sweaters, 100%.
Yeah.
You know who beat that out of me?
Your wife.
Eddie. Yeah.
Well, Eddie, I hope you're watching.
Yeah. You're taking me
It's
back.
time to go back.
You're actually taking me back to my roots here.
And then we're going to dress you up a bit. We're going to have some lighter tones in there.
Wow. I won't be able to go to Brunswick. I will just get swamped with all the guys wanting to
They
take
don't
me
wear,
on a
do you
date.
know what hipsters wear these days?
No, but
hipsters,
I'm not
that's-
saying that I look like the hipsters. I'm just saying that all the gay dudes down there where I used to dance all the time are going to absolutely love me if I dress like that.
I reckon this is really smart. I mean,
I think it actually looks really
I'm not a
nice.
big fan of the pink shirt in the middle here, but for those listening, I've got like this minty, I'm going to call it like a sea moss kind of sweater, so green, because I don't want you to just be in blue either.
Sort of dog puke green.
Oh, shut up.
Is
God,
where
you're
I
a
would go.
twat. Shut up.
You didn't think this segment was going to go well, did you? Of course I'm going to give you a hard time.
And so this one here, you can't tell. It's got a little bit of a pattern on it. So it's not quite like a gingham or anything like that.
Right.
It's just got a little bit of texture to it.
Yep.
So we want 2 light coloured sports jackets.
I see.
Then we want some staples. Now, this is very important, and I've specified this in this guide. These cotton T-shirts need to be good, valuable, high-quality cotton T-shirts with a little bit of stretch, because these are going to be the garments that you work under things, and they need to be nice. So should you have to take your jacket off, you still look presentable.
And still no blacks.
No fucking black, bro. I
Wow.
swore. I was trying so
Well,
hard
and
not to
also,
swear this
I
podcast.
think all of a sudden the fashion decided they like you. I mean, they can just clip that bit.
Yeah, that's another comment. I swear too much. I don't swear enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we're gonna need like a couple of long shirts, and I would like to see a greenish sort of tone, some blues. I don't.
You're just trying to tone down the redness in my
No.
my rosacea.
Because your brand is now using sorry. Onwards.
Moving on.
Pants.
Yes.
I'm going to need a navy pair of chinos.
I see.
I'm going to need a neutral tan walnut brownish colored pair of chinos. This is dependent on your skin tone. Don't just go and get the moleskins from Iron Williams. You might need to try on some options.
The hardest thing about this, the bit that is just, it hurts,
Is that I'm right?
is how much fun Edwina is going to have dragging me from store to store, telling me, no, that's not good enough. We have to keep on going to more stores.
I've given the
until we
links.
find exactly what's right for you.
This is how good I am.
This is my entire freaking weekend
Yeah.
out the window.
Yes. I have been so kind as to put in links to all of these, and these are all available in Albury. I checked.
Okay, can everyone listening, can you please buy me a coffee? My wallet has started crying in my pocket.
But how much better will you look? You look great.
How much worse will my bank account look at the end of this?
G's downstairs watching this right now, squirming because he knows that this is coming for him too.
So should we go shopping on the weekend when you come up to
Yeah,
take my
yeah,
photographs? We'll torture G as well.
Yeah, I've been slowly throwing a bit of colour because G only wears black too, and I've thrown in like a white. He looks so fucking hot and white.
No, I don't. My C cups really stand out in white. Yeah.
I went and bought G like I the best I could describe him is like chino shorts, so like a bit of a dress short in like a blue and a white t-shirt. And when he put that on, not that I want babies, but I was ready to practice. You know what I'm saying?
I'm choosing not to know. Let's move on.
I was like, damn. Anyway, and then I think you've got some jeans, but I just need nice jeans that you haven't like no
Destroyed
distressed,
or-
they're your work
Yeah, yeah.
jeans.
Yeah.
This is your new uniform. You know, whenever you do your shows, whenever you are out doing your things, you need to be nicely dressed.
Okay, help me out here.
No, I'm not
because-
done. We've got to do shoes. Shoes.
Can I just leave the room?
No.
Would anyone notice if I wasn't here?
You are going to get yourself a sneaker that is not a runner. There is a clear distinction between the two. I need a sneaker. I need a boot of sorts. Now, I will accept...
Now you're going to have to fight Eddie because I have boots at home that she hates.
Which ones?
Well, they're
The bottom boots.
They're a black suede half ankle lace up.
I don't know. What does this look black or suede here? Are you
The
seeing
bottom
it?
ones look black and they're leather.
They are brown. They are Iron Williams. I'm not expecting you to go buy a pair of Iron Williams
dark
boots.
brown, but okay.
Bro, look. It's like...
So I have actually tried to branch out on shoes a couple of times and been shut down. So I'm actually pretty cool. I'm okay with having to put on some more interesting shoes.
Yeah. Just to elevate it because you don't want to wear runners with jeans. That's, I know you're a dad, but like, no. And I know
They're not New Balance. Give me a break. They're Nikes now. They used to be Brooks.
To be fair, that is Gen Z's ammo at the moment, but your jeans aren't baggy enough to pull off the Gen Z look. And please don't wear baggy jeans.
No, but I'm of the skinny jeans generation, so I'm still like those calf hugging jeans.
You will never see me get rid of skinny jeans.
No, I like them.
Do you know what I find funny? Just off topic. Gen Z is reinventing the early 2000s, right?
Yes.
All the baggy jeans, whatever, because we didn't do that before. Mm-hmm. And what
They're
they
so
haven't
original.
done, they haven't committed to the full jean look where you go stand in a puddle and the water goes halfway up your leg.
Yeah.
And it's all
That
frayed at the
fade,
bottom.
the tie-dye faded kind of, yeah.
Yeah. That's a rite of passage. But it's funny because I did buy myself a pair of baggy jeans just to try it out, see? And G's like, why would you cover that up?
Good boyfriend points right there. Well played, G.
Yeah, it's like, why? Like, guys don't want you in baggy clothes. Like, show it off. Like, wear the skinny jeans, ladies.
you go.
Anyway, so that's your outfit shopping.
Okay.
How good's he going to look?
Okay, so
And also, one other thing. Notice something. There is no logos.
so we were about to get to this. So what you're saying to me is that you want me to tell my audience to buy merch with slogans and designs that I don't myself wear.
No, you will wear them, just not all the time.
So when I do interviews, will I wear them?
Oh, it depends who you're interviewing.
When I do my videos, will I wear them? at some point I got to wear my own
Yes,
stuff.
you can wear them on your interviews.
Okay.
You can
All
wear
right,
them
so I
on
can
your
wear them in
YouTube.
my own videos.
Yes, you can wear them on your
I'll
own
dress
YouTube.
up for my interviews.
Yeah,
with
like you're
people.
sitting down with a
put
former
something
prime
nice.
minister and you're wearing your bloody
I
hoodie.
wear a Che Guevara t-shirt, of course. Okay, so all right, so you're not barring me from ever repping my own.
No.
Because I have a very concrete life philosophy that I do not ask other people to do for me what I have not done for myself or for other people.
I'm not banning you from your
So,
merch.
like, I'm
merely
sorry.
saying we need to have options.
Yeah, well, you are kind of banning me from it because you're introducing a bunch of things that aren't this.
Well, you have enough of that, is what I would argue.
Well, I won't soon because the logo's about to change. I'm going to have to update my entire wardrobe.
This is getting very boring for people who aren't watching.
Well, okay, that you've raised a valid point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, that's what you're doing.
Is it ever interesting though?
I think I'm interesting.
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I have.
can be delusional.
That was our palate cleanse.
Yeah.
Delusional.
Okay.
So now I want to bring. I saw an article in the Australian, so I'm going to paraphrase what the article was, but it sent absolute shivers down my spine.
Right.
And the title of the article was "Albanese is becoming the Dan of Canberra."
Oh.
To which I say, I apologise to everyone that doesn't live in Victoria, because
The Dan
fuck.
of. Okay, sorry. I'm making a note. I need to look into this, and because that is a great video title.
Okay.
The Dan of Canberra.
I've drunk far too much water.
No,
We are
I
at the
have too. I'm in trouble.
We're at the 2 hour mark, and I'm sitting here
I'm
just
struggling.
like
I'm
jiggling.
struggling. Yep. Yep.
That's why I'm like thirsty, but I'm not drinking because I'm like, oh, this is not
I've
good.
kept drinking, and I regret it.
Okay, so I'm just going to summarize the article for you. So, main warning is that Albanese risks becoming the federal version of Dan Andrews. Dangerous Dan, prioritising political dominance over good governance.
Mm-hmm.
He's making enemies in the wrong places, and he's pissing people off, and it's likely to leave Australia in a economic black hole, but we'll go into that. So, Andrews' legacy in Victoria, because we need to recap this just in case it's not recent.
Let's
memory.
relive the nightmare.
And I hate saying this, but you've got to give people a compliment where it's due. He is a brilliant campaigner,
Yep.
but very poor governor. And just on that, I started calling Jacinta Andrews because her mannerisms are carbon copies of Dan Andrews. Like, he has trained her up. I just heard, did you see that just really quickly? Someone was asking her about the 5-year-olds and being trans and all that sort of stuff. And her face was all like,
No, I haven't. I
that's
honestly,
what Dan Andrews used
there's
to do.
so much of it that I can't stomach. Like
Yeah.
it genuinely, and I don't say this to be flippant with like serious PTSD. I have a mild.
Yeah, it just brings up bad
Just-
memories.
yeah.
I can't actually look at Daniel Andrews' face.
Yeah.
And a little part of me, and I don't mean to be nasty when I say this, but a little part of me is trying to like unplug from Victoria because I already feel like, you know, I'm still passionate about the youth crime thing and I'm still campaigning about the petition. But for the most part, I'm like, I don't even care anymore.
It's the California of Australia. I've been saying that
Yeah.
for years and years.
Let it burn.
Long before COVID, Victoria is the California of Australia.
that never used to be a bad thing.
No. But it became
Pre-Gavin Newsom, that wasn't a bad thing.
No. It's been a bad thing for about 25, 30 years, but it takes time for people's perceptions to catch up with the reality.
Okay, fair. I was going to say, like, when I was going to California for the CrossFit Games in like early 2013, 14, 15, 16.
Yep.
It was fucking amazing. California
the areas
was rad.
that you saw, the
Yeah,
bits that
yeah,
you
of
saw
course.
as a
Like,
part of that event, and all
there was
of
always
that. Yes.
the other parts. Anyway, back to the story. Stop tangenting.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it's kind of what I do though.
I know. It's kind of the name of the show.
What would you say you do around here?
Where would we
I
go?
tangent.
Actually, someone had a really funny slogan for us, and it just left my mind. Anyway, it doesn't
Well,
matter.
that's great.
It'll come back.
Podcasting, well done.
Andrew's legacy is also that he left Victoria with a huge debt, economic decline, and weak institutions. He's obsessed with woke causes and bad energy policy. And he reduced accountability and transparency because, as we know, through IBAC and the redaction and the withholding of government documents, like that's the Dan Andrews playbook.
I don't recall.
Correct. Parallels with Albanese at the federal level. He is cutting parliamentary scrutiny and opposition resources.
Yes, so he's removing staffers and so forth from
Yes.
senators. Yep.
Restricting access to information, so FOI clampdowns.
Yep.
He's increasing government spending and expanding programs. He's got a contradictory climate and energy policy. His political strategy, like Andrews, Albanese aims for political dominance by avoiding scrutiny. He has a heavy reliance on media management and social media framing. He pursues permanent campaigning rather than governing. And Sheridan, who wrote the article, compares unchecked Labor dominance to Orwell's 1984 government dictates truth, silencing challenges. And that is a Dan Andrews rule if I ever saw one.
Yep.
And he warns that Australia could suffer the same long-term decline as Victoria if federal Labor mirrors Andrew's style of rule. And just so you know, Albanese and Dan Andrews used to be roommates at one point.
Yeah, they're buddies. Well, it's nice to see the mainstream media catch up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat. Mainstream media has joined the chat.
I don't know if it's mainstream media, it's Murdoch media, because that came from the Australian.
Well, the Australian is a part of the mainstream.
This is the article for anyone that wants to read it.
Yeah. Why Anthony Albanese risks becoming the dangerous Dan of Canberra. I'm going to have to go and read that. Greg Sheridan, he does some good work, so that would be, okay. We're in serious. I keep saying this, and I don't.
Fuck, how much do you want to punch that face?
I
Allegedly.
I don't say this to be despairing, to sap people of energy or to cause you to lose sleep at night, but Australia is in trouble. And we're in trouble not only because we have a terrible government, but because right now, as we sit here, the majority of Australians want more of it.
Well, okay, so just on that, I want to clarify that point because I did make it on Monday night, but people seem to have been very upset by it. We saw this during COVID, echo chambers. People believe they have a stronger crowd than they do.
Yep.
And we often thought in COVID, because we were in an echo chamber,
Yep.
more Australians agreed with us. And we realised very quickly, no, they
Well,
didn't.
certainly when the election came along, that's your ultimate litmus
Yeah,
test. That's your
correct.
ultimate reality check.
And we saw that just recently with The Voice, for example. The left believed the Voice was in the bag
Yep.
because they were in an echo chamber.
Yep.
And then overwhelmingly, Australia said, no, this is why echo chambers are so dangerous. Right now, with what are we calling them? The right, the far right, the bloody nationalist
The
right,
fascies, I don't
the
know.
fascists,
Yeah.
whatever. You guys who don't like us currently, they believe because they are surrounded by like-minded thinkers
Yeah.
that more of Australia agrees with them. There's a silent majority. And as we have found out over multiple elections, both at federal and state level, there is no silent conservative majority. They don't exist.
It doesn't show up when elections come along. That's for sure.
They don't exist. The Labor Party won in a landslide because the right, or Dutton, as you want to call, I know Liberal Labor aren't that right, whatever.
Yeah.
But Dutton was so unfavourable that people were like, better the devil we know, we'll just vote for Albanese again.
So a point of clarification there, though. Labor's primary vote was the lowest it's been in a long time.
No.
So they won in a landslide on a two-party preferred after the counting of preferences, and people say, oh, it got stolen. It's because of the preferences. We've got to get rid of preferences. No, if we didn't have preferences, Labor would have won just as many seats because they got them. They would have got them on had the highest vote basis, which is what other countries do. It wouldn't have changed the outcome. But I've seen so many people say, oh, Labor are governing with only 35% of the primary vote. Most Australians don't want either of the major parties. What? That's a non sequitur. You can't say, well, Labor only got 1/3, and therefore they don't want either of the major parties. Well, Liberal got whatever it was, high 20%, whatever it was. More than half of Australians are still caught up in this Labor-Liberal duopoly. And of the ones that aren't, a significant percentage are voting for Greens.
Yes.
Or other extreme socialist type parties. We're not in a good way.
And that's the problem. And people think I'm saying that and being a traitor for saying that. I'm like, no. I'm trying to be realistic. I know I agree with many of your sentiments. I agree, as I've said multiple times, Topher and I disagree on this. I want mass migration to be paused so that our infrastructure and everything around it can slowly catch up. I know that's a big ask in Australia, but I'm not saying that because I don't care. I actually do care.
Yeah. There
isn't this massive uprising of people who want to preserve this version of Australia that you guys hold in high regard. They actually want more of the NDIS. They want more of the progressive stuff. They want more Medicare. They want more government involvement. So much so that they want the government to be involved with their children. They want the government to do more about everything.
Every single time they find a problem, they turn around and say the government should do something.
Correct.
And I talk about this in my books. Look at what's happening right now, and we don't learn. So the video that I just released today talks about the bait and switch and how we keep falling for the bait and switch. And there's another one happening in this productivity summit. But the examples that I use are the rooftop solar. People were told spend $10, $12, $15,000 installing a huge rooftop solar array, and you will get feed-in tariffs that mean that the whole thing pays itself off in 6 or 7 years, and then after that you've got free energy. What happened? Well, people spent the money, and then the government changed the rules on the feed-in tariffs, and a lot of people got left in the lurch.
Yeah.
The government turned around, they got people into bed with them on the taxi industry side of things as well, and then people got burnt for doing that. You always get burnt for getting into bed with government. what was the other one? There was superannuation. We're going to give favourable tax treatment to superannuation so that you save for your superannuation. We'll reward you. We'll dollar match you. We'll do this. We'll do that. Well, what do? Oh, there's a big pot of money over there. I guess we better start taxing that now too. And unrealised gains is not taxed anywhere else in Australia. It's literally the worst tax treatment now.
Yeah.
For people that did what the government told them to do. It's a bait and switch. And it's happening again right now with the household batteries.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, the government's going to put in 30%. Oh, right. So taxpayers who can't afford batteries in their house are now on the hook to help out people who can afford 70% of the cost of batteries.
I can't wait for Abby Chatfield to brag about her solar battery.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then they're going to have to hook them up to one of these virtual power plant type systems, which is going to ramp that battery hard because unstable energy with the way that renewables have taken over the grid. They're not going to get the lifespan out of them. There's not going to be any warranties. You're not going to get a refund on anything because your batteries got destroyed because the virtual power plant pushed them, as hard as it did. Yeah. Every time you get into bed with the government, you get screwed over. But Australians keep turning to the government. Yeah. Every time there's a problem. And I'm not saying the problems don't exist, but we keep going to the government, which is usually the cause of the problem, at least to some degree, and telling them that they need to do something. And they're only too happy to oblige. The problem is they don't know what they're doing. Yes. And so the something always ends up hurting the very people that they said it was going to help. This has been a fun episode. Haven't we been happy and cheerful?
This is better than pedos. Last week
last week we got demonetized
we
last
did
week.
Get demonetized.
I blame you. You and your pedo talk.
No, but at least we made the money on the first day, and then when it always says we made the first bit.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Speaking of which, Monday night's super chats were out of control.
Guys, that was amazing.
Like genuinely fucking thank you. Yeah. Like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, we do this in good faith in the belief that it'll build up over time. And if we had enough people watching, then it'll start to pay our bills and that sort of stuff. And you guys that are jumping in now with those kinds of super chats and even the ones, the smaller amounts or buying the merch, the Oddcast merch, etc. What you guys are doing right now is helping us to keep this going as we build up to the point where, the day will come where we can survive just off the revenue from views. Yeah. Right? That day will come. We're not there yet. And so
nowhere near it.
So you guys are actually helping us to keep this freight train moving along while we get to that point. And so massive, massive thank you.
100%. And I was really gobsmacked by that. But like having people saying, oh, this is the worst show ever to this is the greatest. It's a wild ride.
It is.
You got to enjoy it. I'm actually just looking at your 99.9. Do you want to have a look?
Well, I was at 99,900 and a few. I might have hit 99,911.
Ooh, that's getting close.
I don't think we're going to get... My bladder can't hold out until we hit 100,000.
Well, I was going to say, I've got an idea. You had this RFK clip to play.
Oh, yes.
And it goes for 90 seconds.
Okay.
Shall we play that as an intermission while we just like... Whoop.
Okay, all right. 90-second intermission.
Hang on.
If we're not here when the video ends, we won't be far away.
Hang on. I've got to get it up.
For many years...
Hang on.
And I'm getting a head start.
Go.
I was saying not one for many years. I was saying not one of the 72 vaccines mandated for children has ever been safety tested in pre-licensing placebo-controlled trials. Not one. Tony Fauci was saying he's lying. In 2016, President Trump appointed me to run a vaccine safety commission. And he ordered Fauci and Collins to meet with me with White House counsel, present. And I said to Fauci at that meeting, you say I'm lying. For 8 years, you've been saying I'm lying about this. Show me the study. And he said, I don't have it here. It's back in Bethesda. And I'll send it to you. I never got it. So I sued him. Me and Aaron Siri, and after stonewalling us for a year, their lawyers met us on the courthouse steps and said, yep, you're right. We never had any study. And they gave it to us in writing. You can go to the CHD website, my website, and you can see that letter from HHS. There's no downstream liability. There's no front-end safety testing. That saves them $250 million. And there's no marketing and advertising costs because the federal government is ordering them ordering 78 million school kids to take that vaccine every year. What better product could you have? And so there was a gold rush. to add all these new vaccines to the schedule that we don't need. Most of these vaccines are unnecessary. Many of them are for diseases that are not even casually contagious. It was a gold rush, because if you get onto that schedule, the recommended schedule, it's $1 billion a year for your company. And in many cases, NIH is bearing the royalties. So we got all of these new vaccines, 72 shots, 16 vaccines, and now even more because we're doing the HPV vaccine. And that year, 1989, we saw an explosion in chronic disease in American children. The neurological diseases suddenly exploded in 1989. ADD, ADHD, sleep disorders, language delays, ASD, autism, Tourette syndrome, tics, narcolepsy. These are all things that I never heard of. Autism went from 1 in 10,000 in my generation, according to the CDC data, to 1 in every 34 kids today.
That is what's called a global criminal cartel. Mm-hmm. And the reason I wanted you to play we've known about that for a little while, but whoever edited that particular video together and took those bits of the speech has made it really clear and very, very concise. That's something that everyone needs to bookmark and just have ready. Every time someone comes at them with, vaccines have all been tested, blah, blah, blah. Well, actually, in order to avoid a lawsuit, Anthony Fauci of the NIH had to admit that that's not actually the case.
Yeah. So I'll just read you that tweet. Having been called a liar by Anthony Fauci for saying that not one of the 72 vaccines mandated for children has ever been safety tested, RFK Jr. sued Fauci. After a year of stonewalling, Fauci's lawyers admitted that RFK had been right all along. There's no downstream liability, there's no front-end safety testing, and there's no marketing and advertising costs because the federal government is ordering 78 million school kids to take that vaccine every year. What better product could you have? And so there was a gold rush, and as he goes on. So, yeah.
Now, people are going to say, oh, there's a bunch of anti-vaxxers, blah, blah, blah. No, I go where the evidence leads me. I'm reasonably convinced that some of the early vaccines did wonders in terms of dealing with some early diseases. Smallpox, I think, is a pretty compelling case to say that worked wonders. I think, what's the one that...
Polio.
Polio, thank you. But even once you get to measles, the evidence is much less clear. I will argue that engineering has saved far more lives. Clean water, sewage systems that work, sanitation, sterilization, food packaging, refrigeration. These things have saved an enormous number of lives. And the simple fact is, it is now on the record that we have been jabbing our children. I say we as the collective we. I certainly didn't get mine jabbed. We as a society have been jabbing our children with products that were not tested before they were added to the schedule. Mm-hmm. And that's a matter of record now. Yeah. That's not a conspiracy theory. You can't deplatform me, demonetize me for spreading conspiracy theories. That's now on the record.
Yeah.
Now consider, what should the consequences be for the executives, the directors, the marketers, the pharmaceutical companies? And I'm not just talking about as companies. Let's not forget, these companies have already paid the largest criminal fines in history.
Yes.
They are the largest criminal cartel that the globe has ever known. That's already a fact because they've already had to pay the criminal fines. I'm not interested in the companies paying more criminal fines. I want to know, when our executives, marketers, and some of their politicians and enablers in the regulatory frameworks,
all the lobbyists,
when are some of them going to go to prison for gross medical malpractice, for misrepresenting their products, for...
Can I ruin your life here and just say, well, look at the Settler family?
Remind me.
The people who introduced Oxycontin to America. Nothing.
Yes. And sadly, you're almost certainly correct, yes.
Not even a lawsuit. That's it.
Yeah.
They made billions. And look at what the opioid crisis has done to America. I don't know how to... this is a little bit above my pay grade, but when I look at the drug crisis in America, from fentanyl use to tranq and opioids, and then I look at how many people in Australia are rushing for ADHD diagnoses and trying to get on NDIS, there seems to be a collective shift to I don't know how to word this, and I'm not trying to say it in a nasty way. Like, we want more people who are victims, like perpetual victims, who are, maime's not the right word, who are deficient. Like, what's the word here I'm looking for? Like, just...
Well, I mean, yeah, perpetual victims, people who are dysfunctional.
Yeah, that's probably the best term. Like, I'm not saying it to be nasty. I'm like, there is a global incentive to be a dysfunctional human.
Yeah, to be a victim. But this is what socialism does.
Yeah.
The whole concept of from each according to his ability to each according to their need, which is wrong in the first instance. But understand where the incentives are. You will get paid more, you will receive more the greater your need.
Yes.
You will get punished more, you will have more taken off you the greater your capacity and the greater your production. Understand, you get more of what you incentivize. This is always and every time true. This is baked into human nature. We have created incentives for people to be unproductive, for people to be victims, for people to need as much as possible of things that they did not create and did not work for. And hey presto, surprise, surprise, globally as well as in Australia, at every level of society. I mean, corporate welfare, let's not just make it about individual welfare, corporate welfare. No, I'm sorry. If you can't stand on your own 2 feet, you don't deserve bank bailouts, all this kind of BS. No.
Yeah.
Get rid of all of it at every level. Excellence or bust. You either get good or you get out of the way.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
This is why I'm so passionate about speaking up. And I'm not going to repeat myself. It pains me. It really pains me. And not from an elitist point of view. Like, I look at it from a cultural point of view. I've made this claim plenty of times on the podcast where I talk about, look what we were able to build tens, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. Look what we're building now. Look at the music we're making now. Look at the culture now. Like, it breaks my heart. It really does. Like, I talk about rap music, for example, and I know that there's a whole, like, I'm not going to go down a long-winded rant about this, but the language.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's
and the
slang,
celebration of violence.
The celebration of violence, of debauchery, like the way people speak.
Even put aside the moral aspect, people might go, oh, debauchery, that's a very loaded term. The irresponsibility.
Yeah, okay, the irresponsibility.
The I will do what I want and I will accept none of the consequences.
Yeah. People forget who invented the blues, and rock and roll. Look at what we're capable of.
Yeah.
And look at what we do now. And I mean, there's still people out there doing it. And I just want to make sure people don't think I'm an idiot. Like, I know there's still brilliant people out there, but they're few and far between. And those who are brilliant, we've seen it, I've talked about it, we de-incentivize them because we try and bully them.
So this is the issue. It's not a case of whether there's brilliant people out there or not. It's, the structures that we have in society, do they reward excellence or do they reward mediocrity?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with my throat today.
We talk a lot.
Well, yeah. And unfortunately, the reality of our world is right now, we reward mediocrity. We reward people who sit there and go, oh, but I'm trying really hard. I just need a hand. I just need some help. And the person who's just killing it, well, they're on their own.
Yeah.
And in fact, worse than on their own, they get punished.
Yes.
Like, it's assumed that they had some kind of advantage. It's assumed that they got a leg up. That there's something that they did that might have been unethical or something along that line. No, maybe they're just really good.
Yeah. I used to have a shirt in my old clothing company that said, middle finger salute to mediocrity. And it was one of my best selling shirts. And I discontinue it. Everyone would be like, oh, bring it back. So I just redesigned it all the time. And my tagline for that company was also live, superlative, right? So few people could pronounce the word superlative. Everyone's like, what's superlative mean? I'm like, and I got told once by a business coach that your brand and all the commentary around it is above everyone's head. And I was like, so get there.
Yeah.
They're like, no, bring it down. And I was
So that is elitist.
It is. No, but I was like, why do I need to reduce it down to like such simple words and layman's terms? I know I can. I'm not saying I can't.
Yeah.
But I'm like, or you could just learn what superlative means.
Yeah. And that's where, that's a brand positioning choice. I'm not saying that's elitist in the sense of you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You are positioning your brand as an elitist brand. You're saying that this is for people who are a cut above. Now, the world's a big place and I'm a capitalist. If there's a market there and that's the niche you want to go for it.
Yeah.
But from a business coaching point of view, you're probably going to get a bigger brand if you dumb it down. And
I agree with that
Everyone's dumbing everything down. in chase
And
of
look
the,
what it's
in-
done to culture.
Well, yeah, in the pursuit of the lowest common denominator, and here we are.
I read, I'm going to pull it up for you. So this was I'm all about my academic studies now. Look at this. So this was a article I read. It's not an article. It's like a journal article.
Yeah.
The negative Flynn effect, a systematic literature review. And this is about intelligence. So do you know what the Flynn effect is?
No, I don't, actually.
I'll read the abstract to you.
Yeah.
So the Flynn effect is the rising performance on intelligence tests in the general population over time is now an established phenomenon in many developed and less developed countries. Recently, evidence has begun to amass that the Flynn effect has gone into reverse, the so-called negative Flynn effect. In this study, blah, blah, blah. So I went through, had a bit of a read, and I pulled out a couple of interesting things. Now, again, this is a little bit above my pay grade. I'm no expert. But essentially, IQ levels rose across the 20th century, and kids today are scoring about the same as their parents. So there's a stagnation. And it's now showing that the trend is reversing in the last 20 years. And what happened in the last 20 years? Mass adaptation of the internet and social media, smartphones, and now in the last couple of years, AI. IQs are falling. Now, there's a caveat there. IQ in the older sense of the word.
Yeah, in the way it used to be measured.
Yeah, so now we do have modern technology and digital technology. So there's things that you need to learn that you couldn't test for back then. But relatively speaking, speech, literacy, and overall problem-solving ability is declining at an incredibly scary rate.
Now, I would actually argue that the original Flynn effect, the observation of rising IQ, was actually an observation of a greater homogenization of education to target the things that IQ measures. So there's been many studies that the white supremacists love to jump on that say that there's differences in average IQ across different races.
Yeah.
Well, surprise, surprise, the races and the cultures that came up with the tests are the ones that do the best on the tests.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
It's almost as if their entire education system might be built around, optimizing for exactly the kind of thing that they're then testing for. If you test a monkey on its, or if you test a fish on its ability to climb a tree, like it's going to lose to the monkey every single time.
Yes.
And so when it comes to IQ tests, I put very little faith in IQ tests. I really don't think IQ is a useful measure at all. All you have to do is go back and find a 150-year-old high school level primer for teenagers from 150 years ago. Give that to a teenager now and ask them to read it and tell me that our IQs are higher. Give it to a 50-year-old now and tell me that our IQs are higher and that our education standard is better than it was 150 years ago when everyone was taught by their mum and dad.
Yeah. So hang on. So what are you arguing there? That we aren't as intelligent as we were back then, or we are?
The idea that our IQ was climbing is wrong. Right, our measured IQ was climbing because of optimization for the test, and that more people were going through a structured education system that optimized for those outcomes. But actually, if you just step aside, if you want to base it on language, it was you had to pass tests on Greek and Latin in order to get into university. And now people are graduating out of university who are native English speakers, and their English is terrible.
Yes.
Right, we're not smarter than we were.
No.
But my point is that's not something that's happened in the last two generations. I think that's been happening for literally thousands of years.
The decline.
Yeah.
I think what it is disincentivizing people from pursuing that which they're good at. So, for example, I think I've told this story before. What?
No, that's all right. It's just you're just trying to poison me. That's all.
What? What's in there?
Oh, have a good look around the bottom. All the little floaties.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sucks to be you.
I think it's because there's all kinds of nastiness on the bottom of the bottle that you bring the water upstairs in.
I'm just here to try and help your immune system.
Well, you're doing that. That is for sure.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So not encouraging people to pursue that which they're naturally talented for. And I've said this before. Everyone has natural talents and they're all worth pursuing.
Yeah.
But, I gave the example of my brother. He was forced by my parents to finish year 12. He should have been out being a plumber in year 10.
Yep.
Like the second he was able to, off you go. And he would be a totally different person if he had done that.
Yeah.
My parents made him go to full year 12 and then go and do university.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have.
That is soul destroying for someone who's not wired that way.
My brother is a bit like, your average, he's like good with his hands, good at problem solving with his hands, not book smart. He's not an idiot.
Yeah.
But I do believe that played in a lot into who he is now. And I see that a lot, like, go to university. I will discourage most people from going to university.
At the very least, take a year off from the end of high school to the start of uni.
But not only that, like, I know I'm back at uni now and there's a contradiction there, but I've also got 20 years of professional work that I'm referencing as I'm at uni. And I see it now because there's a few people who have gone high school, bachelor degree, and now doing masters. I'm like, dude, fucking get out there, go have a life.
Yeah, go and do something with yourself.
And then there's, in my tier, there's 3 other people and they're all in their 70s. I'm the youngest by a lot.
Wow.
And it's great because they're obviously they're like my parents' age.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming to the postgraduate study with my 20 years experience. They're coming at the end of their, they're
with
retired.
50 years of real world experience after they finish school.
And sometimes I'll sit there and I like, they're broadening my mind. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is great.
This is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think intelligence is actually very impossible to measure because, for example, I'm academic. I'm someone that's book smart because I have a natural inclination to it, but I'm also dyslexic.
Sure.
And so, I look like a dumbass because I can't spell certain words and I mispronounce words, but creative problem solving is my jam.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is ever taken into consideration when it comes to IQs.
But this is my point. The test is optimizing for certain things.
Of course it is.
And
But I would still say, that being said, and I don't know how you measure this. I don't know if there's markers for this. Our embrace of that whole victim mindset is forcing us to be dumber as well.
It's accelerating that.
Yeah.
Go back to the founding of the United States of America. Have a read. Most of those guys some of them were teenagers. Most of them were in their 20s. There were a few older ones. But these were young men in what we would consider to be still in university age or beginning of their career age. Read what they wrote, how they wrote it. Look at how they constructed their arguments, the debates that they were having, their knowledge of history and their understanding, their ability to draw perspective and lessons from that knowledge of history. This is an entirely different, that was an entirely different time. And I'm sorry, but the 1770s weren't that long ago.
Yeah. Not to drum this point home, but I have been reading a lot about this. So I'm just not just making grand sweeping statements without having looked into it. So now there's a decline of IQ by the traditional sense in the digital era. But there is, this was actually a really interesting article because it's talking about, using the language learning, the large language learning models, the AIs and lots of stuff. It's taking away people's ability to problem solve.
Yeah.
Which is great so long as AI is in front of you. But the second it's taken away from you,
that's right.
So I don't know. I find this really interesting.
I think we're regressing back towards being monkeys. I don't think we came from monkeys. I think we're going back there.
Yeah. I just feel like I just want people to care, not for anyone else's sake, care for you. Just care about yourself. Make sure that, like Jordan Peterson said it best, like make your bed in the morning. It's crazy how those
You can't tell me
things,
what to do. You're not my real mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how those like cleaning up your environment changes everything and then it's a flow on effect from there. But anyway, enough about that.
A virtuous upward spiral.
Because people are going to call me elitist again, so sorry about it. But the good news is that we are having the records.
So records.
Yeah, I'm never going to get that right.
Yeah.
Sydney records most rain since weather station opened in 1858.
Now,
because I don't know if you know this, the world did not exist prior.
Oh, no, that's right. Now, this is a weird article and this is a weird record. It isn't actually the most rain in a single year. This is the most rain over a 6-year period for whatever reason. Don't ask me why they've chosen 6 years as their period to measure.
That's a misleading headline then.
This is...
Good old ABC.
It's among the highest. 2 years ago was... 2022, I think it was the actual highest. But I will say they've already exceeded the average and we're only in the middle of August right now. So we've got, a solid four and a half months yet to go in the year, or 4 months and a week yet to go in the year, and they've already exceeded the average. So it is on track to be a massive year. They've got a huge deluge coming again this coming weekend, I think it is. So it is a massive year for rain.
Why aren't we getting any of that?
It's interesting. So having moved north of Melbourne, I pay more attention to Sydney's weather than what I used to before, and realizing just how incredibly different it is. In fact, this graph here is perfect. So why aren't we getting any of that? Okay. So this graph here shows you kind of that 6-year moving average. Again, I don't know why they've done a 6-year moving average, but they have. And it's just hit new record highs, which is true. That according to that average, it has hit those highs. I think it's a silly metric, but whatever. Have a look. There's kind of this low period from 1900 to 1950. where the average, if you would draw an average just through those decades, just through there, then it would obviously be substantially lower than the average for the graph. Then from 1950 to 2000, the average, if you drew it through those years, would be substantially higher. Now, I happen to be very acquainted with rainfall within the Murray-Darling Basin. Now, the Murray-Darling Basin is inland of Sydney. Sydney's coastal. It's not part of the Murray-Darling Basin. The rain that falls in Sydney heads to the coast. But over the Blue Mountains, the rain that falls there goes inland and ultimately finds its way to either the Darling River, the Murrumbidgee River, and the Murray River, and then out through South Australia. The Murray-Darling Basin has the inverse of this pattern.
Right.
From 1900 to 1950 was substantially above the average. From 1950 to 2000, as an average, was substantially below. The exact reverse of the pattern that we're observing in these decades in Sydney. Now, I don't know quite what that means. But I do think that what I'm beginning to pay more attention to, having moved a bit further north, is, I mean, this is a big place. Australia is a big place. It's a big continent. And at any given moment in time, summer in Australia is going to be in drought.
Yeah.
At any given moment in time, summer in Australia is going to be getting rain and getting floods. And the reason why that matters is because when they turn every variation into a catastrophe and proof of climate change, there will never be a lack of things to point at.
Yeah, okay.
We're a big place.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something to point at. Now, let me also say, this, of course, is, Tim Flannery was in Sydney when he said even the rains that we have won't be enough to fill our dams anymore. Well, the dams around Sydney have been spilling for months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, by the way, sorry, in this article, they ask and answer the question as to whether this record rainfall is being caused by climate change. Newsflash, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if it was dry, that would also be caused by climate change.
I wouldn't expect anything less from the ABC.
No.
Oh, speaking of the ABC, bless her cotton socks, G's mum's down at the moment.
Oh, yes.
She's with us for 2 weeks, and G and I don't have the aerial connected to the TV. I haven't had an aerial connected to my TV in over a decade.
Yeah, right.
I don't.
I'm actually the same, but yes.
I couldn't tell you what's on free to air, and I have not seen any shows for the last bloody however long.
Yeah.
And so, and we also don't have the cable. So she came down. She wants to watch ABC, and I'm like,
is there an app for that?
yeah. G and I are like, how do you watch the ABC?
Yeah.
So we've got Apple TV. We download the app, and it's making me jump through hoops, and I've got to download it on my phone to log it into there and do all things. Anyway, she brings it up. And I thought she just wanted to watch a show, but no, she likes it on.
She just wants to have
all
it
day.
on. Yeah, that's an old person thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, I haven't had a parent around me for a very long time. I haven't had a parent since I was 17. So yeah, I'm just like, oh yeah, there's mums do mum things, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah,
old
okay.
people.
Yeah, I can't say that. She might see this. She's
sorry.
not old,
Well, I can.
but she's a parent. Anyway, so she's watching ABC, and I'm listening to the comments, and it's like, blah, 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 climate change, blah, 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 Trump, blah, 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 climate change, blah, 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 Albanese, blah, 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 Trump. That's all I heard. And I was in my office, which is just across from the lounge room. And I was like almost going to start tallying it up. How many times a day does the ABC say Trump or climate change?
Now that's a drinking game.
Yeah. Fuck, you'd be dead. In the first 2 minutes, you'd be dead. And so something came out. It was about the summit he had with Putin. And of course, I'm looking at X, I'm looking at all the different things. And do you know who should be our first sponsor for the show?
Who?
Ground News.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Because they do sponsors. They do sponsor.
I think Ground News should be sponsoring us because I think that'd be a really good platform. I'm behind them. I'm sure people find reasons to not be behind them, but whatever. As I said, for this podcast, is try and read a bunch of different things because I don't want to be an echo chamber.
Yeah.
So I'd already read up about the whole Putin thing as it was unfolding. And then I was listening to the ABC's relay of it.
Yeah.
None of them were in the room. It's all being relayed via American journalists.
Yeah.
And it was all Trump bad. He lost to Putin. And then I didn't think much of it because I'm not going to bring up politics with his mum. And then sure enough, we're making a cup of tea and she's like, oh, that Trump's lost to Putin. Oh, it's terrible. And I'm not putting her down. Gee, I love you, mum. But she was just parroting what the ABS said. And I was like, oh, no, actually, that's not true. This happened. And then G and his mum go to it all the time. Like, G's, and to her credit, she's really open to G and her talking. And she said, having been back in Melbourne, she sees what we're talking about now. She's like, I'm horrified.
Yeah.
Because she's been up in Cairns for 16 years, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And so, you know, I'm not going to go up against G's mum, that G goes up against her, and they're talking and you know, G's really passionate about this. It's like, Mum, you got to wake up. And, it was just the first time I'd seen it with my own eyes. Like, you know, she is a boomer watching ABC and just assuming that's the answer.
Well, of course they're going to tell me the truth.
Yeah. And in real time. And like, I'm not saying this in a disparaging way at all. It's just more of an observation. I hadn't seen it playing out with my eyes like that.
Yeah, I've got a few people that I know that are very much like that. And for them, it's the ABC radio. They've got the radio, the talking voice from the radio.
My grandmother used to love 3AW.
3AW, yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And it is just amazing. And okay, so fine, you want to have that open. That's a companionship thing for you in your home, whatever it may be. That's fine. I'm not going to judge that. But there is this sense that it all just goes in with no filter, no criticism, no fact checking, verification. You know, I quote Proverbs a lot. In Proverbs, there's a verse that says, the first person to speak always seems right until their neighbor comes and examines them, or in other words, until they're cross-examined, right?
Yep.
And if you're just listening to the ABC and you're just accepting it all uncritically, this is the beauty of something like X. We can complain about the bias, but people are jumping in on top of each other all of the time, saying, no, you're wrong because of this. Well, that's not relevant because that, and everyone's being examined all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas in a place like the ABC, ABC Radio, ABC TV, newspapers, etc., if you just go, oh, this is what's true, sorry, there is no examination going on there.
I just literally went to the homepage of the ABC and just reading the headlines. This is not a place I go too often.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just...
So there's that, who was it that said, excuse me, if you don't read the newspaper, you are uninformed. But if you do read the newspaper, you are misinformed.
Yeah, that's Denzel Washington.
I don't think it came from him. I don't think it came. I think it's an older quote than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he said that it's the rush to be... No, he did say that.
He might have said it, but I don't think it started with him. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's enough about the ABC.
All right, let's not set any records.
No.
We started a little bit late, and I need to get home. I'm just checking. So for those that have seen me on my phone and you think I'm just being rude to Carly, I am.
He is.
Because it's fun and it's
He's
funny.
a dickhead.
But also, I'm just checking because I was wondering if we were going to hit 100,000 during the show. And unfortunately, we can't wait that long. We're at 99,922.
Ah, so close.
So, you know what I'm hoping now is that
78 away.
Well, I hope that I can drive home before I hit 100,000 and that I can be home with the kids because they'll be home from school by the time I get home. Well, actually, they'll be in bed by the time I get home. And we can all have a little celebration of 100,000. Watch it tick over.
Yay.
So hopefully it slows down for me a little bit now. And I can get home before I hit the 100,000. But
That's such a massive milestone.
By the time you guys are watching this in the stream tonight, I should be close, if not there already.
Last one, I was trying not to bring it up until the very end because I just don't want to have the same conversation all the time.
Right.
You obviously heard the story about the Q home invasion a couple of days ago.
Yes, I did. Yes.
So not to keep beating the same drum about youth crime in Victoria.
Or keep macheting the same people.
Yeah. So there is a gross escalation in the violence now. It's no longer home invasions and stealing cars. It's machete attacks,
and
stabbings.
It now appears to be invading homes for the purpose of committing machete attacks.
Now, I'm not going to play the footage. There is footage of him being stabbed. And I'm going to explain it to you. You guys, you can go watch the footage. I just don't want to play it because it's really, really disturbing.
Yeah.
He's in his kitchen and he's, being confronted with these 5 guys. And one's 24, the other's 15 and 16, and the other 2, they haven't found them yet. And they're descending on him like a group. And then one of them literally tackles him down. They're hitting him, and he gets the knife, and you see him bang, 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 and it's 11. It's not 1, 2. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. As long as that took, you watch this guy. That is a choice to do that.
Oh, well, the whole thing is.
And
the whole thing. That's attempted murder. Has the victim survived up to this point?
He's in hospital in a very stable condition. In a serious condition, but stable. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I just want to read a little part of this article. I'll bring it up so you guys can see it. This is the Herald Sun. A veteran police officer was left angry at the latest violent home invasion in QE, saying, "I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Sadly, for Melburnians, we have."
Yeah.
And it does feel like every day now.
Yeah,
Another
correct.
home invasion.
Correct.
Another house.
Like,
Another
at some
machete
point, they're
attack.
just going to stop reporting it because it's just not news anymore.
And if you can believe it, this is where I get really mad about politics. I'll turn that off for a second. Brad Batten there was a second home invasion the next day.
Yeah.
And Brad Batten, opposition leader for the Liberals, went over to the crime scene and faced the media there. And of course, now the conversation is not about the crime.
Yeah.
It's about Brad Batten.
Oh, you're politicizing
You're
it.
politicizing the crime. You're
Yeah.
You're there for the media point scoring. Jacinta Allen's like condemning Brad Batten. I'm sorry, and to every MP, and I'm going to swear again, sorry guys, fuck you.
Yeah.
You pieces of fucking shit. Fuck you. This is not about politics anymore. This is about Australians, Victorians having a right to be safe in their fucking homes, and you guys can't grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Put your politics aside and fucking do something.
Yeah. And to be clear, that's not directed at Brad Batten for fronting the media at the front of a crime scene.
It's
that's directed
collective.
It's directed at the people who are saying, "Oh, you're politicizing." Yeah, because this is a political failure.
No one is doing anything.
This is a complete political failure on the part of the Jacinta Allen government, following on from the Dan Andrews government, and they just want to play games rather than fix it.
So, as you guys know, I just get so worked up because someone is going to
Oh,
die.
people already have. People already
This is
have.
going to get to the point where this is like a South African kind of problem.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to start going to absolute extremes to protect themselves. David Limbrick and I put the petition forward, I think.
7,000, I believe now.
Yeah, nowhere near enough.
Sure.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm really fucking disappointed. This affects all of us. And you guys can't even have the gall to just put your fucking name down? Come on. Put your politics aside. Put your pride aside. Who gives a fuck about your address maybe being public?
Yeah.
Stand
Well,
up.
it won't be public. I
know it's not, but that's the rhetoric.
Yeah. Trust me, the government already has your address. Putting it into a
Well,
government-run
no, it's
petition.
the way it's worded online. There's a comment there that says that it's part of the public record, meaning that once it's presented,
your address is not presented publicly.
Yeah, so it says here, I'm aware that once the petition is presented, it will be a permanent record of the parliament and the names and addresses of the people who signed the petition will be public. People are misreading that. You have to get a Freedom of Information request. You have to go to the records office and ask for it. You also have to provide your name and address to get that information.
It's not literally put on the website with your
Correct.
name and your address.
And that's what's deterring people. Put it aside. Please, everyone, put your politics aside. Put your pride aside. Put your ideology aside. This has got nothing to do with anything now other than we need to band together and protect ourselves from the government's failure across the board.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone should be looking out for our neighbours, for our family, for our friends. This is too far. Enough.
Yep.
Enough.
Yep.
And the fact a Greens MP can get up there with, and say with conviction that asking for self-defense in your home is Trump-style politics, I hope it happens to you next. I really do. And I don't mean because I want you hurt. I want you to know what it feels like. I want you to hurt. Because maybe then you'll have some empathy for all of the families and the people who are suffering. No one is doing anything. We keep hearing it. It's a broken record. This is a conversation that's been happening for years. It's only escalating. The toughest bail laws in the country. Where are they, Jacinta?
Where are they?
Where are they? As last I checked, it wasn't going to happen till March. How many people are going to get their hands amputated?
Yeah.
How many children have to see their father getting stabbed? What will it take? I just cannot get my head around this. Where is the common sense? It's gone. Like, Australians are so busy on X arguing with each other about, oh, you don't agree with me, fuck you. Fuck off all of it. When do we stop caring about each other? I'm getting really worked up because it's fucked. It's so fucked.
It's
You
also-
can't live in your own house without fear someone's going to come in and fucking slice you up by a fucking kid. This is insane. You know, and I'm getting worked up. I know I am because I don't want it to happen to someone. It shouldn't be happening. This is fucking Australia. We have a human right to feel safe in our homes. And all these MPs do is sit there and do political point scoring. All they care about is making sure they get re-elected. Meanwhile, families are being torn apart by this. This is going I'm sorry I'm not being professional, but what will it take?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how this is a conversation.
Because a lot of people who claim compassion actually have none. So these politicians say, well, we have to have compassion for the child criminals, their pasts, their backgrounds, all the rest of it. And they completely ignore the fact that they're showing no compassion whatsoever for victims.
Say that to the man who just had his hand cut off.
Yeah. Or the guy that's got 11 stab wounds in him.
Yeah. You know, and I hope he heals and I hope he's okay, but he's going to walk around the rest of his life with all those scars.
And you know the trauma of knowing that there were people inside your home. Can you imagine?
I got off lightly, you know,
Yeah.
all things considered, we got off relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
But I can't for the life of me understand how Jacinta Allen, a mother herself, can front the public every day and say we're doing something because you're not.
No.
And all I'm saying, I'm fucking begging, put the politics aside and just do something, please. Like it's gone too far. Yeah. And I know this is all about policy and making sure they look progressive and this is barbaric, you know. They're kids. They're 14. Yep. This is out of control, and just every day I can't keep looking at the news because obviously look at me. I get so worked up. I think 2 weeks ago on the podcast we talked about the children. I'm saying children because they are the teenagers who were on a rampage around the Chelsea area. Yeah. You know, they held a machete up to the throat of one of the store attendants. They were on a spate of robberies. They're all out on bail. Mm-hmm. You know, the poor woman who had the machete held to her throat, she has to live with that for the rest of her life, and the 15-year-old's already out. And they cried in court. They wanted to go home. So the magistrate let these 14-year-olds go out. Yeah,
such bullshit. No, Jacinta Allen has absolutely no excuse here. She is 100% morally culpable. She's had enough time. Parliament has met multiple times. There are procedures and processes that allow you to ram things through quickly in an emergency.
They can do it in the pandemic.
Yeah, we saw the exercise of emergency powers. They were going to lock people up for 2 years without charge during the pandemic, in the permanent pandemic powers that they've got. And yet they can't even remand somebody on bail after they have broken bail for violently in both cases. I'm 100% with you. I know that the vast majority of Victorians are with you. I've said for a very long time.
Are they though? Seriously though?
No. Well, okay. So the apathy is an issue.
Yeah.
The what good will it do is a big problem.
Yeah.
But no, I think the vast majority of Victorians are reaching them and getting them to do anything is the hard part, and that's how we end up here. That's how we get to a situation where this is even happening.
That's my frustration. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you.
Yeah. I do it to you all the time, so it's fine.
I'm trying to calm myself down because I feel so despondent about this issue. You know, I keep drumming up. I've got the petition here. You know, people are like, we need a riot in the streets. That's not going to do anything. No. We have to do it by the book. And I know that might annoy people. You might not like it that way. But how in good conscience, in a population of 5-6 million now, have we only got 7,000 signatures on this? I can't understand it.
It's 0.1%.
Right?
Of the Victorian population.
I just...
Yep.
And I know people feel the way I do. And yet you can't even do...
Yeah,
that.
Something so simple. Yep.
That summarises Australians,
and
you know?
we complain about, our politicians are crap, there's no good ones, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a few good ones, but the problem is we keep leaving them in the lurch. David Limbrick, MP, has stuck his neck out and said, I'm going to go into bat for you guys. Mm-hmm. And I can't sign it because I don't live in Victoria anymore. Yeah. But Victorians aren't backing him up. Leaving him in the lurch is not how you get more good politicians. You've got to back the few that you've got. Yeah. And that's exactly what this petition can do.
And with this petition, I mean, I'm so frustrated the Liberals aren't supporting it, or I know Labor's not going to, because of course they won't. But you know, I've seen the people, the right, whatever we're calling them, the far right, laughing at David Limbrick for trying to get pepper spray legalised. Yeah. Because we're not going to see sweeping reform that all of a sudden we all have guns.
That's right.
You know, because that's what they want.
It's not going to happen in a single step.
Right. It's a small step. It's a how do you eat an elephant?
Yeah,
one bite at a time, right? Pepper spray as a female, that would make me feel good. I imagine that would have helped Jill Maher, you know?
Potentially, yeah.
Right? Like,
I mean, every situation is different. You can't categorically say, but certainly there's no reason not to have it.
Well, it's just one of those, it's an extra step of making it a little bit harder. And the disparaging comments around, oh, pepper spray, what's that going to do? Well, mate, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Better than nothing that you're supposed to have right now.
Right? And you don't even know that if you did defend yourself that you wouldn't be up on assault charges.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? So anyway, I keep drumming this
Couldn't agree with you more. Well, on that happy note, we should probably wind up.
Yeah.
So
do we
everybody-
want to end on a happy note?
Well, sign the petition, send it to everyone that you know in Victoria and tell them to do it too, and send it to everyone
And it's
that they
not
know.
one per household. Everyone in the
It's
household.
each Victorian. Yep.
Even your kids can sign
I
it
think
technically.
18 over. I think it's
No,
no, is it
yeah,
not? Okay,
apparently.
all right.
I'm not saying you have to get your kids to sign it, but you can.
Yeah, okay.
Should we end on some good news? I feel
Well,
like
look,
that
if you've got something there in your pocket, if you can just like quick draw something, a bit of a palate cleanser for the end of the show.
the first thing I did, I refreshed the Herald Sun's page, and it's all about systemic failings, underfunding, and weak checks in the child safety sector.
Oh, charming.
Oh,
Let's
here we
not
go.
there.
This just happened.
Why do I have a feeling this is not going to be good news?
It's not good news.
Daylight carjacking in Richmond. Well, I mean, it's good news that some good Samaritans actually jumped in.
And another carjacker in broad daylight now. Oh, I can't. I'm not even going to look at it.
No.
It'll make me upset.
Yep.
Anyway, on that happy note,
Well, on that happy note, everyone, thanks
Did
for
we
watching.
get to everything on the
Oddcast.
thing?
I don't know. We've been going for 3 hours and we started a
Almost.
little bit late, so I need to get back to Albury.
yeah. No, I think we did. We got
Yeah,
everything.
okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Well done.
Thank you for watching. Go to @the Oddcast HQ and subscribe on YouTube, because as much as I'm excited about reaching 100,000 on my Tote for Field YouTube, the Oddcast HQ is
We
also
need
growing.
to. And if you haven't yet, you need to jump on to Good People Break Bad Laws,
.com.
because I've seen lots of people have been tagging us in photos.
Have they?
Yeah, they've been getting merch.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They're tagging me.
Yeah.
There's lots of spicy colours ones. I've been
Nice.
tagged in that.
Yeah, I told you were going to sell them. You said you weren't.
I was pleasantly surprised.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
So, look, guys, thank you. We love you. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the super chats on Monday nights. Thank you for the super chats when we stream on the Wednesday nights. Thank you for buying the merch and helping us to keep this project going. The day is going to come when we are going to be, I'm going to say, the biggest podcast to come out of Australia.
Stop it.
That day is going to come. Mark my words, that day is in our future.
I need to learn to not be so emotional.
No, I
Maybe that's part of it.
okay, fine. Let's do a test. We're going to clip that section, upload it as
God.
a segment, and see how it goes.
It's COVID all over again. Don't. Please don't.
40 million views.
I know. That's the thing is I know it would go viral because that stuff does, and that's not what I'm about. So anyway,
Maybe it is. You just don't like it.
I just don't like what comes with it next.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone this time.
Yeah.
So-
Anyway, enough.
All right.
Goodbye.
enough. We're out of here. Bye.
Look at me.
Look at my. Bye.
Bye. Oh, there